Hello and welcome back to Blood and Ashes. This is episode 123, where we will cover the Gathering Storm chapters 31 through 35. I'm your host Mo, and I'm joined once again by my black auraed friends Jody.
Happy Sunday morning, everybody.
And Willie.
Konnichiwa, arigato.
Are we bringing it back? Are we going to do the,
I think
the
about
multilingual
it a lot.
intros?
I think about it a lot. But we have to say different. We can't say hello or whatever it's supposed to be. We've done that. That's old stuff.
Okay.
I am going to pick a language and say my butt is itchy in that language every time and pass it off as being hello.
Okay.
I will be far more sensible and try maybe just Happy Sunday morning in every other language. If I feel like it,
Sunday
There's
morning.
no time for
promise
sensibility
nothing.
in this podcast, Jody.
I will forget immediately and not do it in the next podcast.
It is true that it is a Sunday morning for you every time that we record this
Yeah,
podcast.
it's not a
Jody,
Sunday
so
morning
it's
for
only
me.
right.
Yeah. I don't
no,
care what it
it's
is
late
for
Sunday
you.
night for
I
us.
don't care about you.
Quick little side note. Did you guys notice in the chapters that we are covering this evening, or this morning in Jody's case, that there are little hints of this specific section of the story, specifically Rand's, being quite far ahead in the timeline? There's
Yes.
a little mention of Perrin with Galad already.
Yeah.
And a little mention of Matt and Tom already in Camelin.
Camelin. Yes, I did notice that and made note of it.
No.
Those are the little seeds that I need to have me like, okay, cool. Yeah, cool shit is about to happen. Because, I mean, Matt's plan, I think, is go to Camelin, meet up with the rest of the band, and then go to the Tower of Genji. And Perrin, obviously, when he meets Galad, sort of settles the whole thing with the White Cloaks. And Galad and Berylane finally meet. And yeah, keen for all that
I
stuff
hate to be
resolve
pedantic
and progress.
and to correct you, but Matt's whole mission is to get the Aes Sedai that's with him to Camelin so he can get them off his back. Then he can go to the Tower of Genji.
Yes.
Yeah, there was no mention of the Aes Sedai in his chapter that I had to do. Come to think of it.
It's pleasant,
Kind of
isn't
just
it?
Oh,
Is
what a
it
joy.
I don't mind Teslin, but Jolene is just, she needs to wake
settle
up. Please.
settle down a bit.
She likes to steal other men's girls.
Wait, what?
The opposite of what I said. Other girls' men.
Yes.
You know, I'm just very progressive, guys.
Other than those little sort of tidbits, there's a little bit of cool Nynaeve sort of like playing private detective, and then the big meeting with Tuon, which after I had read it, I remembered how it had gone, but I was surprised as I was reading it, like, oh, this is what's happening here? Shit. Okay.
I thought it would end differently.
Same. Or I had hoped, surely. And then, like I said, like when it was finished, I was like, oh, yes, I remember being disappointed and annoyed with Tuon and the Sean Chan. Like, come on, guys, just fall in line. But we'll obviously elaborate on that when we get there. But before we can get there, there's other stuff that we need to do.
We don't.
Oh, before we do the other stuff, Willie, you look like you want to say something.
Oh, yes. Didn't you promise us something?
I have a big announcement. I'm sorry that I didn't brace you guys for this. I don't want to shock
Please.
everyone with this announcement. Just want to put it out there.
Uh-oh.
I officially now am in new territory. I remember what happened.
yeah.
I read about half of this book, and because I was young and partook in many activities that make your brain dumb, I couldn't remember shit.
Yes.
So I decided to stop and go back to the start.
Yeah.
This, I remember everything to roundabout Hindustan. Everything made sense to me. There was a light and a trickle and little things happening. I know nothing of anything I'm reading from this episode forward. This is all new.
Because you're on a bit further now than just these chapters, right?
Yeah,
Like,
well, yeah, I've gone a bit further than these chapters, but this was sort of this specific stretch for me is like, this stuff is new. There's no remembrance, there's no memory, there's no tingle or anything that puts me
the
into...
the one incident that you messaged us about at Natran's Barrow
Ooh.
is not the kind of thing that you would forget. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And I was just, when I read that, I
that's
was
how
like,
you knew.
goosebumps.
Yes.
And I was like, holy shit, Rand, you fucking animal.
I haven't got there yet. Don't spoil what's already been
No?
spoiled.
And you don't
No.
know exactly what we're talking about? Okay,
No,
great.
no.
This
I've
is
only
great.
read.
I mean,
I've only read these chapters.
Yeah. Oh, man.
this is so fun.
Heavy shit.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's then that just makes me want to barrel ahead straight into everybody's favorite section called Jody.
No, don't have any favorite sections.
It's time
When
for
it ends.
callbacks. Okay, when we were talking about Cadsuane and the female channeler hierarchy, I mentioned Carrigan McConar, and we couldn't remember who she was. She was a powerful and legendary Green Arger sister from over 1,000 years ago. She had Nynaeve's power level, which is why they talk about Nynaeve as the strongest in over 1,000 years. We sort of listed off the names on the different levels, and up there with Cadsuane was Carrigan McConar. And we didn't know who that was. And that's because she's not alive in the events of these books.
So not appearing in these films.
Exactly that, yes. Well, time to Monty Python is quite short in this episode.
I've got some more references coming up. Don't worry. Let's go.
Excellent. Willie, your argument about the glass cloches being polished by magic doesn't hold water, since the Aes Sedai make the novices do all this type of work with no channeling allowed.
Not the manufacturing, but I am going to listen to our very loyal supporters of this show and said enough of the cloche. I think we should put a very solid pin in the cloche for now, and we can go back to a burning fade for a while.
Good old things. Darkhounds, mastiffs, the classics.
When we round up this whole series at the end, we need to do a revisit of all of our favorite theories: the burnt fade, the cloches, the is Luz Theron a separate person in Rand's head or not?
Well, if we're going to be doing our favorite ones, the cloches is not part of it. That's not going to make the cut.
No, the cloches for sure should be in the cut. I mean, this
can
is
have his own
something
little-
that is kind of like a hill that I'm willing to die on. Far more
We
so
can all
than
bring our
can
final
land smell the burning
arguments at the
fade.
end of the series.
I was having a cold salad in a stainless steel bowl for lunch, and I was sitting here at the computer watching my YouTube videos, holding it.
Was
and
there
it condensed
was
on
there
the outside?
condensation on the
and
outside?
On the outside from the cold salad on the inside. And then it condensed so much it was dripping off my fingers.
Did
And I
you
thought,
science.
do scientific observations round about temperature?
I wrote it all
Ambient-
down.
I know the ambient temperature in Spain at the moment is Australia, and the
But that's the
salad,
north.
I suppose, was 4 degrees coming out of the fridge.
Possibly.
Maybe 5, 8.
If the condensation is dripping off your arm, I'm assuming that it's fairly humid at the moment.
Fingers. No. But yeah, humid, yes. Particularly hot like the rest of Spain, no. We are surprisingly temperate.
Okay, well, imagine that. The behavior of water under certain temperatures seemingly quite consistent.
Yes.
It's almost
It
as
would
if
not
you
have
can
happened
predict this
if the
with science.
contents of the bowl were hot.
Was
all
it the
I'm
bowl of the winds?
Maybe that's what was affecting it.
Okay, all right, we're in the weeds. We're in the weeds.
Just
Let's
eating
get out.
salad out of the bowl of the winds. What disrespect. I don't know. If it pisses off the windfinders, then I'm happy.
Hey, if you can't use it and you can only use it like 3 times in its lifetime, then use it for
Use it to
salad
chill your
bowl.
salads.
It was a 3-bean salad, and after Jody had finished, it became the bowl of the winds.
Yes, very
Oh,
good.
but
Lawrence.
that's a bad joke. Yeah, it's 5 points for you.
Oh, I have a dad joke. Sorry to interrupt. My kids asked me to tell this
no.
on the podcast. Why do you never mess with a homeless horse?
Don't know.
Because they're unstable.
Oh, quick, let's move along.
Billy liked that one. Quick, someone record.
I
Screen
mean, we
grab.
all love them.
Yes, I did like that one.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, where were we? The Wheel of Time. Oh, yes. That's what this podcast is about.
Oh, yeah.
I have a dad joke too, but it was just a
Oh.
clever play on words today while we were unpacking the dishwasher in the kitchen. And our dishwasher has got this magic little compartment that's like a little small drawer right at the top. And every now and then I put something in there, and Sophie never checks it to unpack it. And I told her, yeah, I realized you never check it because the other day I was looking for the grater and I couldn't find the grater. And I thought it migrated.
No.
I don't know, I'm going to give that a 3 out of 10.
Oh, no, we're reaching now. Edit.
Leave it. Don't touch it. It's
Oh,
gold.
it'll be left. Don't worry about that. Okay, back to the Wheel of Time then. We were talking about what was the series of events between Cimarog getting freed from her cell and the domination bands being retrieved and Elsa going to fetch them and all that sort of stuff. So it goes like this. So when Shadowharan appears to Cimarog, he's busy talking to her when her shield disappears. So what happens to the Aes Sedai outside is independent of what Shadowharan is doing. Then when Cimarog comes outside the room, Elsa is already right there with the dead and unconscious Aes Sedai on the ground. Remember, the ones with warders were just unconscious so that the warders don't get alerted. And Elsa's there, and she immediately asks Cimarog to remove the compulsion that's been put on her, and then also gives Cimarog the domination bands on the spot. So Elsa has already been sent to get the domination bands. She's been instructed to ask Cimarog to remove her compulsion, likely by Shadowharan himself. And so she's waiting for Cimarog outside the room, which then Cimarog has the domination bands when she disguises herself as the serving woman to go, waylay Rand and Min. The Kudenkaal statuette was definitely in the same box. I went back to the chapter where Cadsuane shows the sad bracelets to Sorelia, and she mentions the Kudenkaal in the same plain wooden box. It's where she keeps her own Tarangril as well.
I have a question. How did Elsa get through the wards into that box?
Don't know. There must just not have been too pro for, or Shadowharan helped her somehow, maybe disabled the wards, but then, he could have had the domination bands.
Exactly.
Then. Don't know.
Yeah.
But Elsa was maybe warned there will be wards on this box, go be safe.
Or Shadowharan was part and partial to doing what needs to be done. But,
then why
because
did he just
does
take the
the
bands?
whole coming out of the shadows things, he couldn't carry shit with him.
Okay. As soon as he walks into the shadows, the physical stuff just falls to the ground.
Like his clothes.
Yes, he arrives naked every time.
It's just got magic clothes.
I don't think this
Like
is a
the
Pandora's box
Terminator.
we need to open. All right, so Balefire. We were talking about how it affects the physical world and not people's memories of what had happened. So from the fandom wiki, all events that could have been said to have happened before the destruction of an individual's thread are remembered by any other individual, though the physical reality of the situation is now changed. Anyone that was witness or party to the reversal of time will still remember all the events that were undone as if they had actually happened, and if the effects themselves no longer exist. Right? So the destruction of the the balefiring of Cimarog and Elsa does not change anyone's reality in their minds. And then we spoke about for Matt and Avienda to have been resurrected from Ravin's trap, Rand must have used a lot of balefire. I went and I read that chapter again. When Rand balefires Ravin, it is described as molten light thicker than a man, driven by all the power he could draw.
That'll do it.
So yeah, Rand blasted Ravin with everything he had in him, which obviously then undid the killing of Matt and Avienda. Elias's wolf name is Longtooth, in reference to the long knife that he wields. I thought he had two knives, but he only has the one. It's almost as long as a short sword, and that's what he fights with. That's the knife that he carries at his belt. And that's why the wolves call him Longtooth. I couldn't find a mention of the number of houses in Hindestap, just the inns, and as for them struggling to grow food, it wasn't because of the curse, but because all the food, including all their specialty cheese that they make, was just going bad really, really quickly, much like elsewhere in the books, right? Like in Bandar Eban, where all the grain is coming to, it's also spoiling really soon. It's just like the times are bad. All the food is going really bad. Who was with Rand when he stole the horn and the dagger from Paden Fane in the Great Hunt? It was only Rand and Loyal that steal the dagger from that camp. So the Horn of Valyr is in the chest that Paden Fane could never open, and he kept the dagger on top of the chest so that none of the Trollocs or the Dark Friends that were with him would come anywhere near it. And then Loyal picks up the chest and he runs with it, the chest and the dagger, I think, and he runs with it, and then Rand has his sword out, and that's when he kills a bunch of Shadowspawn the first time, and it's after that the wolves refer to him as Shadow Killer. And this is all after Rand, Loyal, Huron, and Selene had already exited the Portal Stone worlds in Kinslayer's dagger. They were hoping to be able to intercept Paden Fane, but what they ended up happening was like they were sort of arriving at the same time. Then we were wondering about what is another time where Mat could have been fighting Shadowspawn at night, and the only battle that fits is the one that we mentioned in the Aiel Waste. It's actually on the way out of the Aiel Waste in the Jangai Pass, I think. It was at night. Mat himself kills a bunch of Trollocs and a Fade. Avienda balefires a Drakkar. It was a pretty pitched battle at night against a pretty significant Shadowspawn attack. We were wondering who uses the Wall of Air in their Aes Sedai test, and I actually remembered toward the end of the episode, it was Moiraine's test in New Spring is the one where we get visions of like what is actually happening inside the Aes Sedai test, where they have to do the 100 weaves under pressure.
The only
one
time
of them,
we
like
get that look into that world.
Yes, it is. The Aes Sedai one it is, So far, I don't know if at some point Egwene makes Nynaeve and Elaine.
It's kind of like what I feel is one of the most important bits out of New Spring was to bring this Aes Sedai test reality of it into the story, because our girls don't go through it.
But now you can hear references to the 100 weaves and stuff, and you know exactly what, like, at least some of them are going to be used for. We sort of touched on, this is more of like not a correction or a callback really, but we when I was editing the show, I remember I was talking about this, and I had made a note that I just didn't read on the show for some reason, but we had touched on the fact that Rand thinking about quote unquote snuffing out his problems, and whether that thought came from him, Lews Therin, or somewhere else, ... The implication being that it's actually sort of like a Moradin sentiment is pretty significant considering where Rand is, because Moradin and Ishamael are complete nihilists, right? Like they want everything to end. So Rand sort of like dark, defeatist almost mood about like I can't wait to die, that is actually quite a strong echo of Ishamael's whole thing, right? Like he's the only true dark friend because he's not looking for power, he's not looking to like rule the world or anything. What he wants is for the Dark One to win so that the Wheel of Time can be broken, because he feels like everything is pointless and unnecessary pain. Like that's his whole thing. Like fuck the wheel, fuck the pattern, the Dark One needs to win. Whoa. Yeah, it's pretty rough, yeah.
Next t-shirt idea? Oh, no, too dark. Fuck the wheel, fuck the pattern.
It's pretty dark.
Just walking around with the t-shirt on like that, wow.
And then a little bit of redemption for everyone's least favorite royal prince, Gawain. He does know that the Tarangril from the Blood Knives will eventually kill him when he puts them on. But he believes that he needs to. I won't elaborate on what he's going to go do with it because I don't think anyone remembers. But when at the point that he puts them on, he knows that it's going to kill him. He just doesn't know when it's going to kill him. So he does redeem himself just a little bit. But there are actually other repercussions to him doing that, which we'll get to in A Memory of Light. That's enough blathering from me, though, so let's now turn to our lovely listeners and hear their contributions, starting off with old classic roof mistress Marlene back again and sharing the following. So, the tipsy gelding and a night in Hinderstap. What a ride. I'd forgotten how intense it is. And a reminder that Moraine is waiting on our heroes. Plus, a cool reminder of Matt's ancient memories about Aradol. There are lots of clues throughout the first chapter that something is not right. Matt has a plan and it depends on losing. Tilman is, as usual, is observant and notices problems from the get-go. Chapter 28 is just crazy trying to get to Tom, and the Aes Sedai had me on the edge of my seat. I'm also not a fan of the new curses. Bloody name of Hawkwing's left hand, ? We also have the drawing of Matt that is circulating. This gambit of variance will really frustrate me later, more due to Matt's stubbornness than anything. And then chapter 29, oh man, what a letdown after Hinderstap. Back to Darthrand going over his the dead woman. But I do appreciate Rand's statement to Maurice, the end of all things, the Dark One with control of the Dragon Reborn. Yikes. Chapter 30, I think we were handed a huge clue to Gawain right here. This is a good point that Marlene makes here. The truth was, she's quoting from the book, the truth was he'd never been very good at the game in the first place, not like his mother. Brian had insisted that Gawain practice it anyway as a method of learning battlefield strategy. I think that's in reference to stones, right? Like playing stones. Gawain has no strategic thinking. Only his immediate needs, and Brian's questioning of Gawain right on the nose. It's a good summation of Gawain's behavior. It's all knee-jerk reactionary stuff, right? Like he's not thinking about the bigger picture and the long game. Like Gareth is like, why aren't you in Andor with Elaine? He's like, I don't know, I'll get there. That's fine. Right now, Egwene, I need to save Egwene. And you, he is just looking at exactly what's in front of him and nothing else, which is a cool observation. I think oddly enough, Marlene continues, my favorite moment in the section is Gawain asking Brian, whom do I serve? Motherfucking shirtballs. You should have already figured this out, idiot. I don't think he ever gets it. Having fun with this book, but dreading the end of the series / podcast. Me too,
still
Marlene.
some time.
It
could be a long time
It's
still.
still okay for now, but it is coming.
Yeah.
But thanks for that, Marlene. Great entry.
A thought on that. Gawain's knee-jerk reaction to what's right in front of him at that time would be okay if he were making the right decisions. But he's misinterpreting every single situation and then reacting on his misinterpretation of it, which just makes it worse. Failing at the present, failing at the future, fail. The only way he can redeem
Failed in the
himself is
past.
to fucking die. Which is what happens.
I'm gonna just support Jody in that motion. That
Yes.
he's page filler at this point in time for me.
Look, I get it. He's well written. If the intention was us to, for us to not like him and look how much we're talking about.
Then,
It's
yes,
like a huge
great
thing, like success. But make him like some random, I don't know, Char Fail's boyfriend, not Egwene's boyfriend. Like this, but this reflects poorly on Egwene. How can she be so great at everything else except her choice in
She
men?
can't be perfect, right? They all have to be
Jody,
flawed.
did
So maybe
you-
this is Egwene's flaw.
This is her flaw. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Levi Wagner comes in from the cold to deliver this message. Hi Mo, I got a little behind on the podcast and just finished episode 120. I had not thought of Sanderson improving a character before, but his writing of Egwene I do thoroughly enjoy. The line about Elida not being good enough to be a dark friend is perfection. My note, agreed.
Yes.
One question I had for the podcast, now I'm going to expect you guys to weigh in on this because this is a juicy one. Levi says, one question I had for the podcast is, what do you see the difference between Egwene accepting oaths of fealty from Theodrin and Faolain and blackmailing Morel and Nassau into swearing oaths as well versus Elida and the Fourth Oath Plan? She would have lost a lot of high ground inside the tower if the oaths and blackmail had been exposed at the wrong time.
Slightly different. Elida is trying to make it a law. Every single person that becomes an Aes Sedai has to swear to her. Egwene did it out of necessity, out in the wild with a handful of people, and no more. So she not great. Preferably should have done it without making that a necessity. But again, she was put up as a puppet. She was manipulated from the start, and she had to manipulate back. And an Aes Sedai got to do what an Aes Sedai got to do. And this is my theory.
Yeah.
I'll die on this hill.
Vil, any thoughts?
I'm
Like,
having
are
a
you...
good hard think about it because that has actually not crossed my mind at all.
I know.
And never thought
I
about it.
went back and I read about it. So
Mm.
here's a bit of context for you, Vil, to maybe help you come up with an opinion on it. So when Egwene, I can't remember exactly what the...
Now remember, I know exactly where it happened, how it happened. There's no
Mhm.
memory gap in it. It just one and one just didn't make two for me thinking about what happened. But as Jody said, it tracks that she did what she needed to do in a moment where multiple people were trying to manipulate her into just being a puppet. And she
Mhm.
found them out one by one and in turn got them on her side.
Yeah.
Although being through an oath of fealty, but
Yeah, it's a bitter one to swallow, right? So here's the
Yeah.
context, right? So the moment it happens with Morel and Nassau specifically is when they go out of camp and they go find Lan, right? Morel has been hiding Lan in that tent. The water bond had shifted to her. This was all a big no-no, right?
yes,
Aes Sedai
Morale
don't
did
do this.
a
They
lot
don't
of
just
bad
shift water
things
bonds.
there.
And she was also sleeping with Lan, right? Like she
Yes.
was like really,
Using him as a
and
sex
that's part
slave.
of her process. She is well, slave, maybe not, but like she is particularly well known for being able to help warders who have lost their Aes Sedai from going crazy and just killing themselves and going nuts, right? Like calming them down and actually extending their life. And if part of that is having sex
By
with them,
putting
so be
them
it,
in a cell and having sex with them. That's the
It wasn't a
definition
cell,
of
it
a
was a
sex
tent.
slave.
He was a tent. Lan was with his sword, practicing his sword forms and stuff in the background. Like he was hardly vulnerable. But what Egwene's rationale is in that moment, because I went back and I read it, and her rationale is when Morel and Nassau sort of come clean about what has happened here. Egwene says to them, look, for me to turn a blind eye to this or to let you off the hook, I'm going to have to trust that you are never going to do this again. I have to be able to trust you absolutely. And to that end, I need you to swear an oath of fealty to me. So she is, with all the stuff that you guys have been saying in the background, yes, blatantly been put in a position where she is clearly going to be manipulated. That was the intention of the people that put her up there. There's no other reason to put this village girl from Eamon's Field up as the Amelin seat. And Egwene knows this. She and Swan were working on this. It's all very eyes open. And when she had this opportunity to sort of build up a bit more of a base, because at that point it's just her and Swan, right? And maybe Leanne a little bit, but like by adding Morel and Nassau, and then the other when she finds out about the ferrets, she uses that as well as like another reason for them to swear fealty. She had to consolidate her position and get some of these quote unquote manipulators and influencers on her side so that she's not horribly outnumbered and eventually pushed into some action that she thinks would be bad for the rebels. So
I suppose if you take any organization and leadership within an organization and an organization of powerful people doing the politicking thing, you have to do moves. I mean, Moritz, you're an avid Survivor watcher. You know this.
Yeah.
You got to create alliances and do little stinky moves to get.
And you got to blindside people. And
Yeah.
you got to. It's a game, right? Like it's ruthless. There can only be one survivor. There can only be one Amerlin seat. Yeah.
There's a tangent.
The last thing I was going to say about Elida's oath was that she wanted to enforce it with the one power, right? So that people would be incapable of breaking the oath. Now, in this world, oaths are basically sort of like your word is your bond, and oaths are adhered to. But Swan is able to obviously push that to the nth degree with Gareth. But the Aes Sedai do that with like not telling lies and stuff as well, right? Like the Aes Sedai are good at pushing the oaths, but I think there is an added degree of enforcement by doing it on an oath rod rather than just promising that you're going to be on my side, is what she's basically asking Morel and Nassau and the rest. I hope that satisfies Levi. Levi's last note is that my favorite part of this book is the short chapters. Love a short chapter book. P.S. FYI, after I finished Hinderstep, in my head, I heard your voice go, hectic, right? Enjoy the show as always, Levi.
Right.
Brew, that was hectic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. But I think as South Africans, we say hectic a lot because a lot of my Aussies say that to me as a joke as well.
Yeah, I mean, my eldest, who's getting ready for work here now, he had to do a high school project on South Africa, and they had to talk about all different things. And one of the things was slang, and one of the things he researched was hectic. And it actually came up in a Spanish high school presentation about South Africa.
It's hectic, eh?
It's hectic.
My brother and Hannes and I used to play an old computer game called Raptor, which is like a top-down airplane flying shooting game. And it had one weapon in it called dumbfire missiles, which were just these little missiles that keep flying out the side of you, and they just basically smash everything in front of you. There's no real targeting or anything like that, but they just create an extra. And we used to say that, like, you use your dumbfire whenever things get hectic. And to this day, when between the three of us, someone says hectic, we'll say, use your dumbfire. It's 30 years ago.
Memories.
Thanks a lot, Levi. Keep them coming. Now, strap in because Angela is back with another chunky submission, and it goes like this. Hey, I'm back and I'm halfway through Winter's Heart, and I've listened to your episodes on Crossroads of Twilight, and I gotta admit, I'm not looking forward to this one.
Sorry.
A book which ends with Matt going shopping and Egwene getting kidnapped. I remember those chapters being a grind to get through. It seems like the good was few and far between. I'll keep saying it wasn't that bad, but if you had to pick a low point in the series, I think we're pretty unanimously going to say it's around there.
Globally well established.
Yes, but I refuse to use the word slog
I
in
agree.
reference to that. Angela continues, anyway, I've just recently gone back and listened to the Winter's Heart episodes, and right at the end when they're cleansing the taint, you guys wondered whether this was the first time we knew for a fact that Deshiva was Osangar. Well, I have just read the following in Winter's Heart, end of chapter 13, called Wonderful News. In a Forsaken get-together, Osangar frowned at idiots and blind fools, which were Demandred's words about the Ashaman, as well he might, but he quickly smoothed that plain, creased face, so unlike the one he had been born with. So Deshiva is frequently described as having a plain face. It's one of his defining characteristics, and as well he might makes a lot of sense if Demandred knew Osangar was hiding amongst the Ashaman. Of course, it's not meant to be picked up. It's another one of those Easter eggs Robert Jordan throws in as a passing comment, but just wanted to point that out to see if you guys think you would have spotted that. I don't think we did.
No.
I don't think I did on my first read, but now I'm picking everything apart and it jumped out at me. Okay, Angela, yes, for sure. On a reread, there are so many signs. That one when Rand talks about like cleansing Saidin he's talking to Narishma and Deshiva, I think, and Deshiva has this like huge reaction.
Yeah.
Like he has like a big facial expression or something. And when you're reading it, it's just like, oh wow, this guy who seems sort of off with the fairies all the time, staring off in the distance, is having a big reaction to this big thing Rand is saying. But when you know it's Agenor, it's like, oh yes, for him that is a huge, huge deal. So yes, obviously there are loads of these little Easter eggs, but that is a pretty direct one, that plain face. There's not a lot of characters that are described as having a plain face. They're generally farmers. Even Deshiva's face is described as like that, potentially of a farmer, but like Dharma Flynn and Eben Hopwell are two that I think of that are sometimes described as having a plain like farmer's face. But that specific one is saved for Deshiva. Then Angela also says, now, my Morghese Trakan theory. Sorry it took a long time to come back to that. It's not a theory that would change anything, but I noticed something unusual in the way that Morghese responded to Gabriel's compulsion. Quote, her skin tingled as if an icy wind were blowing through the courtyard. Fires of Heaven, Chapter 19, Memories. I seem to always misplace the books I need, but I feel like this is almost the same sensation Rand experiences when women are channeling. He describes goosebumps or the hair on his arm standing on end. It's very similar. Considering that Robert Jordan is always so intentional with his word choice, I find it intriguing that these are the same words used to describe what Rand feels when women are channeling around him. Can Morghese sense when a man is channeling? I know it is said outright that women can't detect men channeling, but we all know in a Robert Jordan universe things are impossible until they aren't, like healing stilling. We also know that there exists in the universe MacGuffins which enable people to detect male channeling. So it is possible, albeit with assistance, like Cadsuane's Paralysis Net, right?
Okay.
And Nynaeve's. Also, bear in mind that in the beginning of the books, there are barely any men around who can channel. Maybe more women may be able to detect it than they would realize. They just never had the exposure. And without repeated exposure, you would never make the connection between a tingling goosebump sensation and men channeling. Morghese is incredibly weak in the power, but I further hypothesize that perhaps being able to detect men channeling is only possible via an extremely rare talent, capital T talent, and not possible through study at the tower. We know some talents like that. Foretelling, for example, I don't believe this can be learnt. You must have the talent for it. And we know that talents are not proportional to strength in the power. See Androl and his gateways. So, I think there is wiggle room for it. I don't propose it like it would have made any difference in the books. I just found Robert Jordan's use of language in this moment very intriguing, and I wanted to see if it would hold up to your scrutiny. But please be gentle with me and don't rip me to shreds too hard.
Would never.
Never ever, Angela.
They will leave that to me.
Stomp on her dreams, gentlemen.
Here is what I am going to say to that. It is completely plausible. It's
Agreed.
Immediate agreement
into
from everyone.
the
Yes.
world. And again, that lack of having male channelers around, or men that's willing to even think into that direction, sort of ties in line with it. Something might be there, but you never get to test it, experience it, or feel it.
Yeah.
I like it. I really do.
In the magic system, like she mentions, there are Terungril that can do it, right? Like the Paralysis Net
Therefore, a
can sense
person
when a
can
man is
do it. A
channeling.
person can have it.
And when Narishma makes the proclamation at the Rebel Aes Sedai about you can bond 47 Ashaman as a reciprocal for the Ashaman bonding, that many Aes Sedai, there is an Aes Sedai that comes in and she tests a weave on Narishma. Remember, she's like, I think I've come up with a weave to detect if a male can channel. And she does it and it works. It's like, oh, cool. So like they know how to do it. The Terungril, when they are made, you must assume that a person making a Terungril would have to understand how that weave would have to work to imbue it into an object that can recreate that weave all the time, right? To make the magical objects that do these special things.
That all of the Aes Sedai are using at the moment stems from a person that has the ability to dream, to go into
enter the world of dreams.
Enter the world of dreams. Therefore, I am born with this ability. Now I can put it into an object through my skills. This all tracks, and a lot is forgotten about the inclusion of male channelers through all of the years. So yes, I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's like I'm a big sucker for a theory and like expanding on the universe through the non-written, but using hypotheses like these.
Totally. And it's like Angela says, it doesn't change anything, but there's enough wiggle room there. And she is right, like Robert Jordan, like using the description of Dashiva's face, in a very specific way. Like there are definitely clues linked to the usage of specific phrases and words. And if you're looking for wiggle room, I think it's there, Angela.
That how there are more nerds like us out there that are so invested
even nerdier
in this. I mean, like, yes, we do all kinds of other fantasy, and we read and we watch and we play, but to be this vested into this one story and to like really dig in and pick through the pieces of fish flakes to find.
That's why we're doing this, right?
Little bones. Parasites. Yeah. And parasites, Joe.
It's what we used to do, hey, Vil, like just standing around when we worked in surf shops together. We just stand around talking about Wheel of Time all the time. So good. Yes, Angela, love it. Keep them coming as well. On we move then to Scott Wilson, who's back, and he has this observation to share. He says, "Hi guys, just a short message. You were talking about the differences between Robert and Brandon. I had never really thought about that before. I've only read the last books once they came out. On this reread, I will keep an eye out for that. One I spotted was in chapter 11. Avienda called out to Rand and just used his first name. I think that is the first time she didn't say Rand al'Thor. Have a great day. Loving the podcast." I mean, we could probably pick out these things until the cows come home, eh?
I
don't want us to get too
negative,
negative, but it is interesting and it's noticeable, so it's worth pointing out. I like it. And good pick up, Scott. I did not pick up on that one, but you're quite right. Like, she does call him Randall Thor all the time. Jacob chimes in with this watertight theory. Been a while for me. I'm trying to engage more with the Discord as Yabo Fish, but it's not a medium I often use. Me too, Jacob. I'm not a big Discord user, but more on that later. But in the last episode, everyone was complaining about Gowan, and I think I figured out why he knows better than everyone else. It's not, as you mentioned, some random stranger he met on a hill that he is trusting more than his sister, his mentor, or the love of his life, but Gowan is the one person in all of Randland who has a trustworthy pigeon network. So he's heard about how dark and evil Rand has now become after the domination bans. Haha, checkmate, no flaws in that logic. So the pigeons finally come in clutch to ensure Gowan kills the demon that is Randall Thor. I have more previous thoughts from other episodes, but I wanted to send this one in and explain why Gowan is perfect and has done no wrong.
Gowan, the pigeon whisperer. Yeah. He gets every message delivered. Love it.
Thanks for that, Jacob. I've laughed every time I've read that now, both when you sent it in and when I did my notes and reading it out now. The thing that Jacob said about Discord is true for me as well. I mean, we are so inundated with social media apps and stuff. Like, I'm not as active on Discord as I would like. Our audience certainly is, and I've noticed the two of you are certainly more active than I am, which is really great. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys to collate some feedback from Discord, if there is any, right? Like, if anyone raises anything that we should mention in the show, you guys can bring that. Our episodes are so heavy in the beginning. I do so much gas bagging at the beginning that I think it would be great for us to break it up with some contributions from you guys.
I'll lead with the discussion that we were having yesterday about rugby, and Gerald and myself and Jody were talking about rugby.
Was this happening in Discord?
Tight game. And Gerald, like I said, he's a dreamer. He's capital D. He knew what was gonna happen. I said, yeah, can't wait for the Booker game, and he's like, to watch them smash the Poms, hey? Because he knew.
Yes.
It's
Sorry to our English listeners.
Yeah, that's why there's none of them in the Discord. Because they're not going to set foot there.
I'll remind you guys before our next recording and see if we can get you to comment on a couple Discord users' contributions, because there is a lot going on in there. And
there's a lot going on there, which is fantastic. And again, as always, a shout out to Adrian, who set this up. This wasn't our thinking. Adrian set this up, and out of her own will, and we love it.
And not because she was a big Discord user or anything beforehand either. She learned it to set it up. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Just to give people a little insight into what you can find inside the Discord server. Obviously, there are sections for every single chapter, every single recording we've ever done. If you're on that chapter, you can go in and read some notes, share your thoughts there. And then we have places, general chat. We have photography, gardening, cooking, sports, gaming, animals, lots of animal pics. If you have pets, share them with us.
Pets.
Yeah.
And
Lego,
so much. That's just a
cosplay.
Lego.
Other media, right?
Star
like
Trek.
Other recommendations, book recommendations, sci-fi and fantasy TV shows and movies and stuff. Like, yeah. It's really great. Yeah, thanks, Adrian. You've set up a really cool spot for people to talk about cool shit that we also like. Okay. That's it for callbacks. So only one more little piece of business to take care of before we can get in our chapters, and that is previously on Blood and Ashes. On the way to Hinterstap, Matt and Tom reminisce about the good old days. Tom feels like he's over the hill, but he can't stop thinking about saving Moraine. When they get to Hinterstap, they notice a few oddities about the town before the mayor himself eventually tells them they have to leave before sunset, and Jolene and the Aes Sedai bristle at this deadline. Matt finds the most appropriate inn for gambling, while Tom splits from them to go gather information. Talmanes is suspicious from the get-go, but Matt can only think of gambling for some supplies. He starts playing dice with his gold against the townspeople's silver, and they can't refuse the opportunity. Matt starts losing and upping his bets in a classic dice hustle. Shortly before sunset, the mayor comes to tell them to get out of town immediately, but Matt offers his chest of gold in a final gamble for as much supplies as the town can muster. The mayor begrudgingly agrees, but demands he toss the dice instead of Matt to ensure he's not cheating. When Matt gets lucky and wins the final roll, the mayor tells him to take their spoils and leave immediately before leading the men with him into the tavern again. Just then, the sun goes down and all hell breaks loose. The townsfolk seem to go completely feral and attack each other and Matt's party. They try to get away, but in the process, Delan is dragged off his horse. It is incredibly dark, and Matt struggles to make it back to Delan to save him, despite Tilmanis' warnings not to go back. In his attempt to rescue Delan, Matt gets overwhelmed and Tom appears out of the dark to save his neck. They get Delan onto Pips and make their way to the inn where the Aes Sedai were likely staying. They sneak in through the back door and find the Aes Sedai upstairs holding off the villagers with fireballs. They make their way back to the horses and Edicina heals Delan. They escape the town and don't seem to be followed. They make camp some ways from the village and keep watch when Tom tells Matt people were distributing pictures of him looking for him. As dawn breaks, the serving girls the Aes Sedai insisted on saving vanish into thin air. Matt decides he needs to go and see what's happening in the town, and when he gets there, the villagers just look at them sheepishly, and there is no blood from the violence left over. The only blood they do see is where Delan was stabbed with his own sword. People they had seen killed in brutal ways the night before were now walking around unscathed. The mayor finds them and explains what happens to the town every night at sundown. The villagers themselves only have vague nightmares from the night before, and any newcomers to the town that happen to have been killed there also wake up with the villagers trapped in the same cursed loop. The mayor honors the debt from the dice game the day before, and Matt takes the supplies back to the band, but not before leaving enough gold to pay for the supplies, horse, and cart. The mayor had told them there was a person in a village of Trustair who was distributing the pictures of Matt and, as it turns out, Perrin. Matt tells Tom that that's where they're going next, since it's on the way to Camelin, their current destination. We switch to Rand, who is leading a procession into Bandar Eban, the captured capital of Aradoman. He's musing on the names of the women he has killed and allows Lews Therin to add Ilyena's name to that list. He has the male Kudenkaal in a little pouch hanging from his saddle just in case. Maurice foolishly tries to convince Rand to unbanish Cadsuane and apologize to her, but she has a snowball's chance in hell of accomplishing that. They arrive at Rand's new base of operations, the manor house of the first merchant council member they have captured, Milisair Chadmar. He checks in with Dobrain, who has been tasked with stabilizing Aradoman, and Rand is incredibly harsh on Dobrain, who seems to have only managed to calm matters in the city rather than the whole country. But Rand eventually thanks him for his efforts, only to send him off to Tyr within the hour. In a makeshift throne room, Rand summons Milisair Chadmar to an audience where he grills her about the whereabouts of King Elsalam. When she can't tell him, his questions turn to the last messenger from the king, but she swears high and low he was questioned to no avail. She promises Rand he can be crowned quickly, but he's not interested in being king here. He tasks her with sending him the messenger and dismisses her before turning to matters of grain distribution with the Aiel. Meanwhile, Gawain is meeting with Lelaine to talk about what's being done for Egwene. The Aes Sedai makes a completely non-committal statement about checking with Egwene about her strategy of staying in the White Tower, much to Gawain's frustration. Lelaine brushes aside all this talk and turns the conversation to matters of ruling Andor. Later, after leaving Lelaine's tent, Gawain rides to meet up with Gareth Bryan, and when they meet, Gareth tells Gawain why he joined the rebels and how bad things got in Andor under Gabriel's influence. Gawain won't betray his men, the younglings, but he's left them behind and is now focused on Egwene and Elaine. Bryan tells Gawain what a fool he is being, that he needs to choose a side and stick with it. Which brings us to tonight's first chapter, which is chapter 31, A Promise to Lews Therin. Vil, can you promise to give us a Lews description of this chapter?
He is imaginary, question mark, in Fran's head. Yes, we are in the point of view of Cadsuane. And hooded and cloaked like a real thief in the night, she is truly hiding her face because she truly believes Rand will kill her if he sees her face. Clever play on words. She managed to secure herself a nice pair of Dutch clogs. She had to find the cheesemaker. The cheesemaker knew where the Dutch guy was that made Darren clogs. So she could get her feet out of the mud because that place is poorly laid out, clearly. Bandar Eban.
Yeah, muddy streets.
No cobble streets. They haven't learned about paving the roads yet. They happily walk through the mud in bare feet. That really set me off on a side tangent. I might as well bring it in here. These Karens.
Never.
But what are they? If you were to put them in your mind, because they eat with funny cutlery, So for me, that's chopsticks. They have really spicy food, and I'm thinking Indian and maybe
Sichuan
Sichuan.
chicken.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I had some hot chicken this weekend.
Easyville, focus.
Long, thin moustaches.
Long, thin moustaches, but the woman dress scantily and they've got dark skins. This is like a mishmash
Yes,
of something.
but definitely some of those Oriental stereotypes
Oriental
thrown in
vibes,
there,
yes.
right?
I wouldn't say stereotype, but Oriental influence. Like, I don't know.
Certainly. And the clogs, when I imagine them, I don't imagine the Dutch clogs. I imagine like the Oriental clogs, like the like little wooden shoes with one or two blocks underneath.
No,
Isn't that in
Cadsuane,
tier?
her ones
Ilian?
is ones that she could put her shoes into. Like
Into,
that,
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
She talks about, she makes reference to tier, and I'm pretty sure that when we read about tier, that's what we read about.
Yes.
Was
also
it
with
tier?
the triangular straw hats and
Straw
stuff
hats,
that they
yes.
have there. That was tier.
It wasn't tier because we do have that Japanese style shoes that we still discussed about. But either way, I digress. I get off topic. She got some clogs.
Hey, I went on the same tangent.
I love it. Anyway, she heads to an inn that she got a spy, eyes and ears from back in the day.
Informant.
Her informant runs a classy joint. Quillen Tassel, he is. And old mate, his place is called the Wings of Favor. He doesn't have many patrons. He is not doing this for the money. He's doing this for the love of keeping a classy joint with good wine where only his good mates will come in and the rest of the riffraff will stay out because they don't serve cheap ale. Anyway, she slides him across the table, a pouch of coins, and says, "What's up? Give me the news. What's the beat on the street?" And he's like, "Well, there's a lot of beats on the street, but most, what do you want to know?" And she's like, "Okay, let's not be coy. Al-Salam." Again, a lot of the names of the people in this area has got Al in, which is Persian, if the same, you think. But anyway, Al-Salam.
RJ, I think, was just taking bits and pieces from a bunch of the sort of Celtic, people that he put in the desert with their red hair, but then the Zulu Assegai and stuff, like that's his
way that
modus operandi. Took all these like known character traits from all these different cultures, put them in a box and shook them all up and just picked random ones out again.
I think for me the biggest part of it is, and trying to understand it, is how do I create this person in my mind? What am I looking at? Like scantily clothed Damani is always like the thing that can.
That one I've got covered.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm sure you do.
But I mean, more than
I can picture that quite easily.
Anyway, Al-Salam has not been seen for 6 months, but in other news, there's 24,000 Aiel acting like the United Nations around. She's like, "No shit, Sherlock. I haven't noticed all the Aiel feeding people as I walked in here." She asks about the other strange occurrences, which is, the deaths, the weirdness that happens. But he only picks up on the bad news, not so much the good fortunes that come across, and she would raise a couple of those. But she ends a visit and decides to move on. Lots of observations of what's happening around the town at that time. And then she reminisces about her exile and the cause of it. And then she feels a prickling. Man Chandler coming close, prickling in her back, the direction that it's coming from. So that's probably from a paralysis net of trinkets that she's got.
Yeah.
And she realizes there's Rand on a big black horse and he's cruising towards her, and hopefully he did not see her. But she wants to yell at him.
He did.
Oh, he did. Yeah, we know. But she wants to yell at him, but she values her 300-year-old life and is not ready to see that being winked out by Rand. Then the idea strikes her as she contemplates how she can help this Althor boy. And she goes back to the mansion and to the wing where the Aiel stays, and straight to Soralia, who's in the library, seated on the floor as all Aiel, and she confesses, I have failed. She's like, yes, we know, but shit happens. We all fail sometimes. And they sit down to formulate a plan. And I sigh, because haven't their plans just turned to shit in their face all the time with Rand? But they will persist. And we switch point of views to Rand. Rand spots Cadsuane off the bat. No, Cadsuane, you were seen. He knows she is in follow. She's not banished. She didn't run away. She's just not showing her face. He did not see her face. But it's her self-assured stride. Like the way she walks is like a banner. Because Cadsuane is Cadsuane. He's doing the rounds. He doesn't need to. It's unnecessary. But the food does get distributed a lot better when he does pop around and shows face time. Nynaeve is with him, and they're discussing the meeting place of the truce. So Nynaeve has been running Messenger with the Seanshan so that they can set up this meeting. The previous locations will reject it, and Rand says, fuck it, let's go to the Heartlands. We'll go to Falmer. Because you know what? I've been on the cinema at Falmer before. Everyone knows me there. So there could be some historic value to that. Flynn whistles through his teeth at that, like, oh shit, he's gonna go to Falmer. That's a badass move. But Rand is really big on the truce. He wants it. He wants this peace and drive it regardless, and sends Nynaeve off to continue with the negotiation. That's where Nynaeve pulls up to Rand and asks him what he has decided. He informs her about Falmy, and she's like, oh shit, bad move. Do you remember the last time? And brings up all the history. Rand asks her then about about Lan, and she kind of hints. She doesn't say the full truth of it all, but Lan is gone and he's riding for Tarwin's Gap. It will take some time because Nynaeve doesn't disclose that she dropped him off all the way to the east or the west, to the opposite end of Tarwin's Gap, to ride along the Blight and summon up an army. We know what will happen there. Hopefully, Rand says he doesn't start the war without him ready, but at the same time, he's pointing like it could be handy, like the Dark One's focus can be on Thomas Gap, and he could actually, a little side move, like then his lost life wouldn't be in vain. And she's like, holy shit, how can you speak about that as a friend? And this is where it pipes up, where Rand isn't really Rand anymore. Rand is living more loose now. And he's like, what do you want me to care about everyone? Do you want me to feel this love? Like, I cannot. You don't understand it. And it's a topic throughout this next couple of chapters that we go through. Rand conveying to Nynaeve. One, he trusts her because she cares for him. Not care for what he needs to do, but cares for him as an individual, a person, which is the different approach to Cadsuane. Cadsuane cares for what Rand needs to do. But he's going to put that at ease for them. Like, I understand what I need to do, and there's a very great metaphor that we'll get to. Rand then heads towards the manor. Same manor that Cadsuane's. She's cruising like in his shadow the whole time, like gambling with her life. And he goes and meets with Rock, who has been able to catch another one of these merchants that Rand had put out, that he wants them all captured. We've got 4 captured now, 2 dead, not killed by the Aiel, I might add, killed by mobs and the upheaval that's been plaguing the area. And the latest one that was caught is Alamindra, Kutrian, but at that time, Malissae, whose house manor they're living in, had come in to inform that this messenger that he wanted to speak to is dead in the prison cells. How unfortunate. But the Aiel also informs her, oh, by the way, she also tried to run away. And she's like, oh no, I did not. It was a moment of weakness. But Ramshalan. Now, Ramshalan, do you guys remember Gummy Bears, the cartoon?
Yes.
Do I?
What was the baddie's name that guided all the trolls around?
Duke
someone. Duke Skeletor. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, this is Ramshalan.
Joe's going to look it up.
Big nose, pompous
Yes, your
attitude.
dukiness.
Yes, your dukiness. That guy.
Yeah.
That was
Ramshalan.
Toadwort.
Toadwort, yeah.
Yes, so Ramshalan pipes up that, all for the head, burn the witch, whatever you want to do. Rand is not stoked.
Duke Igthord.
Igthord.
That's it.
Duke Ramshalan. Anyway,
Okay.
Rand is not stoked with this intervention. He never asked for his opinion. But still sentences Millicent to suffer the same fate as the messenger. And says to the Aiel, the Millicent. Where's Millicent? Millicent was in...
That's the Disney
movie.
No, Witcher, I think.
No, that's Maleficent.
Maleficent. Close enough. There's a blend going on here.
Yes.
She's pretty much that.
Anyway, but she is going to be taken by the maidens back to the dungeon that she put the messenger in, where the messenger died, and she's crying and all the rest, but no, thank you, it's not going to happen. Rand suspects, Rand/Luz, that Graendal's compulsion, because of the message of the messenger, like how it comes across that nothing could be extracted from him, and already suspects that Graendal's at work with her compulsion, because she is that strong. None of Rand's actions, though, find favor with Nynaeve, unsurprisingly, and he continues on about Lan when she asks him about, what about Perrin and Matt? Do they still matter? And this is where the swirly rainbow colors, and Rand sees Perrin with Gallard and Matt in Camelin with Tom. So as we have that, like we are well into the future now. But no one gets it. Rand's like, you just don't understand. It's not just about people and these connections. It's just the picture is so much bigger, and he gets it now. Like, you can't have these connections. You can't have these values to one individual. Like, there's a bigger thing at play. He gets very hard with Nynaeve, who pushes Rand, but not this time around. And Rand actually is starting to agree with Lewis. He's looking forward to the end, to death, to this all being done. This is hard yakka for him. And that is the end of that chapter.
Yeah, hectic. Use your dumbfire. Joe, did you have anything to say about chapter 31? Nothing.
No, I mean, just the usual, the most predictable. Cadsuane going, oh, I don't think you saw me. I was pretty sneaky. And then Rand's first words are, oh, there goes Varen. No, Varen. There goes Cadsuane.
Yeah.
She probably thought I didn't see her.
Yes. She thinks to herself, like, oh, God, Rand keeps showing up everywhere I am. And Rand thinks to himself, why is she following me around the city? And neither of them is doing either of those things.
Oh, yeah.
I like Cadsuane, more of the usual is right, Joe. She thinks to herself, the more power a man held, the more likely he was to be an idiot with it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God. Come on. All these biases that people hang on to are so crippling and blinding. But yeah, there's a couple. Actually, I think this is the chapter I've got the most notes on. Let me rattle off some of these things because they're all just like little bits and pieces. Cadsuane noticed a sister's casual yet keen knowledge of current events. So Quillen, this informant of her, his daughter went to the tower and became a Brown sister and is set up in the library. Yeah. But Cadsuane noticed her casual yet keen knowledge of current events and went to go find her parents to see if they would make good informants. And they did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty smart. Like Quillen's wife is like this super wealthy merchant. Quillen himself, I think, was also quite well off when he sort of quote unquote retired, which is why he can afford to run an inn with a common room that sort of tends to like actually
with no
scare people
guests.
away. It's too clean.
He was his wife's accountant. He's Andoran.
That's right.
And she's Damani. And he counted the money as all, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
White folk do. And the money traded.
Okay. I wish I was counting a lot of money. But yeah, like just like the Cadsuane, just like she noticed like how tapped this other brown sister was into like current events, and she's like, all right, let me go see if I can make something out of this and like turn it into something. So like, yeah, Cadsuane's good at what she does. Quillen also knows his shit. He knows that some news is credible and some is hearsay. So like when she asked him, okay, what news do you have? He goes, do you want all the news or do you want just the credible news? Which is mostly the stuff that comes from his wife, is the credible news. Which is cool. It means like Quillen also knows what he's about. Cadsuane here makes mention of the fact that the Seanchan were likely to have plenty of male Adam anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually was a interesting one then because I don't think they make them. Well, that's what my
but remember, we
understanding
spent
was.
quite a bit of time talking about when they could have made copies of them, because when they took it off Baeldomen and again, and they would have potentially been able, because they would have to make copies of Adam, you know, like they probably have Damane doing it, right? Because they can't channel openly. They have to use Damane with, you know, proficiency in making Tarangril. Maybe some of them have the talent and that sort of stuff. But we had established that there was a window of time where the Seanchan had access to the sad bracelets. Certainly Anath, you know, when she got them originally.
Plenty of time.
So the fact that they just have multiples is unsettling, because that means like none of the Ashaman or Rand are safe from being collared. And I was just thinking like Baeldomen and Aegean and really fucked up when they got captured, they didn't just toss them overboard into the sea. They handed them over to the Seanchan, and that's why we are where we are. Then
Leilwyn.
What else? Well, Leilwyn now, but she was Aegean at that time.
Dead naming over her. Jesus.
No, she was Aegean at the I specifically put that in because I've been giving Matt a hard time about not calling her Leilwyn. I like that Cadsuane admitted to herself that Rand did show some wisdom in some of his decisions. Like she said, some of the stuff he's been doing is actually pretty wise, except for the ones where he sends himself into danger and stuff. So she is recognizing his game, right? Like that he is making some good decisions, which is rare for Cadsuane to do. Stoked to see that the Sea Folk had reappropriated a bunch of Seanchan ships during their escape from Ibudar. So some of the ships in the Bandar Eban harbor are Seanchan, but they were sailed there by the Atha and Mir. So like when Matt freed the Windfinders in Ibudar, they stole a bunch of Seanchan ships and buggered off with them. And it's just cool to see like Matt's gambit paid off, you know, like he never knows like how many truly got away, but word was that some had gotten away, and here we see evidence of that, which is awesome. What else? Good to see Cadsuane recognize. Oh, go for it.
Yeah, sorry, about the ships. It's not necessarily from that one event. They've been engaging with the Seanchan at sea since the Seanchan arrived. Surely they've won some battles. They also have channelers on board and...
Yeah, but not Damane that are sinking other ships and stuff. Like, I think it is mentioned in this passage specifically that those ships came from Ibudar.
And all right. Well, then I stand corrected.
The ones in Bandar Eban at the moment. Oh, it's a callback for me now, but I'm pretty sure like that's what he mentions.
Right, well, even regardless about what's happening in Bandar Eban, I'm sure that the Sea Folk have some repurposed ships from other encounters for the Seanchan that they've had on the open seas.
I mean, Joe, obviously that is certainly a possibility. I think the way that it's been described to us is that the Damane have been ruthless with capturing the Seanchan ships are, you know, with their Damane, ruthless at capturing Atha and Mir. Like the Windfinders aren't using their weaves for fighting or taking over other ships or anything, right? Like they're using it to basically sail better. So
yeah, I mean, who knows what they know now that they've been spending some time with the Aes Sedai and.
Your point stands. They the wiggle room is there for these ships to have come from other
point
encounters.
stands. All right, I'll leave it now.
You have reasonable doubt. It's good to see Cadsuane recognize that not only will Rand never trust Aes Sedai, he has good reason not to. Yes, Cadsuane, like you, who is an Aes Sedai, of course he's not going to trust you. So just like go take a look in the mirror. Cadsuane ponders how the wise ones could live so long and not achieve the ageless look. It took Egwene like 10 seconds to figure out the obvious difference, the oath rod, right? Like the Aes Sedai, these women are living longer than you and using the power all the time, and they don't have the ageless look. But what did you do? Oh, the oath rod. Duh. I would expect Cadsuane to puzzle that out pretty quickly, or at least have a hypothesis, like have an opinion on it. What else? We're only halfway through my notes for this chapter, by the way.
All right, then.
Rand actually admits to himself that it was probably a bad idea to exile Cadsuane, but it's too late now. So, he's not, he can see that he made a mistake, but fuck it, he's just going to commit now. Joe, suddenly Qatar is featuring in the story, Now that's where he wants to go. Meet Tuon. My note is the city near your favorite lake.
Yes.
Nynaeve, who's riding with Rand here, is one of the quote-unquote first ones bonded. But obviously not like Narishma or Flynn or those guys. It must be one of the first ones in that batch of 47 that Narishma had come and told the Aes Sedai they could bond in the Ashaman. He's full Ashaman now. And he's the one that was particularly adept at weaves of air that also helped Avienda channel the water from the river onto Adrin, that soldier that turned into lava and stuff. That's where we've heard Nynaeve before. I love that Nynaeve is staying close to Rand, right in the eye of the storm, and doing her best to defy his cold nature. It's still just... She calls him Rand and reminds him that she used to spank him. Like just being Nynaeve around him is a good grounding for Rand, and I'm so grateful for it. But then Rand thinks to himself that Nynaeve would never make a good Aes Sedai because she is too free with her emotions. But that is Rand comparing her to what the Aes Sedai have become, not maybe what an Aes Sedai could be. So I'm thinking like the Aes Sedai over these centuries with the Oath Rod and stuff have become these sort of like manipulative sort of, talking out of the side of their mouth sort of.
Unreadable. You can't tell their intentions, liars. Their age, nothing about them.
Yes.
Yeah, they're so
ambiguous. Because I immediately took exception to that. I think Nynaeve would make a great Aes Sedai. So
she is a great Aes Sedai.
She is a great Aes Sedai, that's right.
I fully agree with you that she is grounding Rand. I think if anything, Rand is pointing out to her in these chapters that there's none of this grounding anymore. Like that was back in the past. There's a memory of that, but I'm not that anymore. I have moved on so much.
I'm not talking about this conversation, just the fact that Nynaeve is still around Rand and is still trying to do that. Also, this is Rand saying these things. He is not all the way gone yet, right? He's having to tell himself and other people that because he is resolute to be that. Like he wants to be that because that's what he thinks he needs to do because he knows he's going to die, quote unquote knows. But I think the fact that she is there, even regardless of Rand's responses to her, just constantly just calling him Rand, just that act, right? She doesn't call him the Dragon Reborn or my lord or my liege or anything, not Rand Althor, just Rand. Because she used to spank him. And like she is this constant reminder. The fact that he still allows her to be around him. I mean, in these chapters, he flips out at her and stuff, but he does still trust her. Like the fact that he took her to cleanse Sidene with him and stuff, I think it's a good influence on Rand. And I mean, as grounding as you could be for this person who is obviously flying off the handle at quite a rapid pace.
She must be careful though. Like I didn't think that was a good tactic to call him out in front of everybody to say I used to spank you, because that's what Cadsuane did. She belittled him in front of people all the time, and that was a bad idea. So she needs to find a new plan, which she does in the very next chapter. So we'll get there.
Yes. Rand thinks to himself, perhaps Nynaeve had sent warning to the remnants of the Malkiri in Land's name. Yep, she sure did. She went and delivered that message in person to make sure that his following started growing. Nynaeve is not entertaining Rand's talk about Land being a distraction to the Shadow at Tarwan's Gap and how his death would actually serve the cause. I mean, she does have to remind him,
harsh.
Lan is your friend, and it was hard to read that coming from Rand. I did make a note here, at least Rand is still sitting on the floor when he's talking to Ruach. So he's sitting in the throne, he has his audience, and then Ruach comes in and they have to talk about the grain, and then he steps off and he sits down on the rug with Ruach. So he's not too big for his boots yet. Lord Ramshalan sounds like a right asshole, but he is going to get what's coming to him, Havel. Remember the name, Lord Ramshalan. Yes.
Ramshalam.
Yes, then I had notes about Perrin and Galad already being together, and Tom and Matt and Camelin. Okay, cool, so that's coming soon. Rand was just thinking in this chapter how he needs to temper his anger, but still loses at Nynaeve, threatening to exile her like he did Cadsuane, and it surprises him as well. So, he is looking forward to dying and, snapping at like his closest confidants and allies. So things not looking great for Rand. Whenever I read these chapters, I'm just like, Veins of Gold is at the end of this book. It's at the end of this book. It's not for much longer. Don't worry.
Hold on.
But yeah. That is it. Those are all my notes for that chapter, which, spoiler alert, for this episode is the chapter on which I had the most notes. So it won't be this long again.
There's a lot of notes.
So that's enough from me. Let's move on then to chapter 32 called Rivers of Shadow. Joe, don't let Vil's previous summary overshadow yours.
Very nice. I wondered what you would do there. We're with our girl Nynaeve, speak of the devil. Well, Rand's almost the devil now. She's on top of the walls of Bandar Eban. And I was writing Ibudar. I was typing Ibudar and I went, no, wait, we're in Bandar Eban. With Cadsuane and her hangers on at night. Of course, they're on top of the walls in the middle of the night, waiting to see some ghosts. Nynaeve can feel the approaching storm. She talks about that a lot, and she's missing home, lots of things, but she'll never go back there because she can never live such a simple life, etc., etc. Maryse, she's there, she's one of the hangers-on, spots the ghosts, so Nynaeve snaps out of her reveries and heads over to where they are standing. She's on the other side of the wall, she's looking out over the sea, and they're looking out backwards over the land. Backwards. She's still not accepted by the other Aes Sedai as a full Aes Sedai herself. So there's a bit of awkwardness amongst this group. She's kind of apart from them. A long line of apparitions form from a swirling mist and march towards the city. It's more of a procession than a march. Harmless, but unsettling nonetheless. Maryse is not impressed with these ghosts. She's more worried about random people bursting into flame and others exploding with insects from the insides. Lots of stories coming out of the city now that Rand is in there. Side note, are these bad things happening? Because Rand has Taverinus and it's normally balanced, but now he's so dark that only dark things are happening.
I got that sense because when Cadsuane is asking Quillen about so what about all the miraculous survivals and the marriages and stuff, he doesn't seem to know about anything like that. So the food spoiling, Vil, you mentioned this in the last episode already about wherever Rand is going, the tea is going bad immediately and the food is spoiling. I think it's the Dark One's touch, right? That's the thing.
On him.
Yeah, so it's not so much Taverin
aura
anymore.
Appears shit immediately spoils around him. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that tea.
Poor Rand, everything he's eating and drinking must be shitty.
No, it's only when the aura appears. But it's great. I love it. The Dark Rand, so good.
Okay, enough talking.
Typical.
Dark friend. Rand has proclaimed that the last battle is coming soon. Cadsuane agrees. She's like, yeah, he's probably right. But Maryse thinks he's a fool. Shut the fuck up, Maryse. No one asked your question.
What do you know?
What do you know? So, what if this country doesn't have a king? This is Marie's argument. We're wasting time here. If the last battle is coming, we got to go. Faffing around here, looking for a king who's lost. Who gives a shit? It's all irrelevant, are her words. And they should be getting out of there. And I was like, oh dear, you shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have badmouthed Rand in front of Nynaeve. Nynaeve points out that the Seanchan are not irrelevant. Does Maurice think that they should just march to Tarman Gaidon with this enemy at their backs, let them invade their lands, and be trapped between two enemy forces? Like, use your brain, Maurice. Jeez. To herself, she thinks that Graendal is also here. And if she is here, she needs dealing with. So Rand has every reason to be in Bandar Eban right now. It's very important, unlike what Maurice believes. Then the Aes Sedai continue talking amongst themselves, and Nynaeve can see Cadsuane grimace at their prattling. Then she nods to Nynaeve and then stalks off. And Nynaeve thinks, was that a nod of approval? And I'm like, yes, Nynaeve, it was. Cadsuane realized that you're the only one talking sense here. You can see the bigger picture. These prattling fools cannot. So Cadsuane is like, I'm leaving, but she doesn't say that. She just leaves, and everybody has to scuttle after her. But Nynaeve goes, nah, I'm not going with him. I'm not welcome in that group anyway. So they leave in opposite directions. Nynaeve is now formulating a plan on how to deal with Rand. She has the beginnings of a plan. Now that Cadsuane is no longer his advisor, he needs a replacement Aes Sedai, and she thinks that she can fill this void. If she can deal with Kongars and Coplins in Emond's Field, then she can deal with the Dragon Reborn. Although Rand is not quite a Kongo. They're on a whole nother level. Not with that menacing aura. She's seen it too. She saw the room darken at the moment he banished Cadsuane, and I was like, God damn it. So it's not just Cadsuane that can see it.
Yeah. That's my one note, Joe. Here you go. Yeah. You saw it too.
So there, yeah. So it's, if you're that way inclined, if you know Rand, I suppose, you can see it. But fuck it, she says. Literally, it's written like that. And heads towards him. She's heading in Rand's direction. She passes the refugees in the city streets. It's getting tough to walk there. There's so many refugees. The city's overflowing. And she's just, figured she's just walk along and push through them. But then she hears a child's nasty cough. And I thought, like, how many times as a parent, you're lying a late sleep at night and your kid just coughs in the room and both you and your wife wake up like, what was that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that's the reaction she got to hearing this child cough. Like, that's not a normal cough. So she sneaks along.
It's hardwired in our beings.
It is. So she hears the cough and she tracks it down, and she finds this child with his family, and his dad tries to block Nynaeve's way. Lol. Nice try, buddy. He's just being a protective dad. I get you, bro. She barges through him, whips out her herbs, sends the dad to go fetch some water to make a tea, and while the boy's drinking his tea, Nynaeve weaves her base 5 super threading healing and sorts him right out. She kind of distracts him with the herbs, so she still believes that herbs have a purpose, and now it's a distraction. We've come to that point. She leaves the child, alive and well, with a reprimand for the parents for leaving the child sick so long. This was his last night on Earth. If she hadn't caught him, he would have been dead in the morning. But there's been rumors floating around, and everybody's afraid of the Aes Sedai, and she's like, don't listen to stupid rumors. If you're sick or you need help, come and see the Aes Sedai. We are not your enemies.
It's like
blah, blah, blah.
Nothing better than when someone thanks you for the kind thing that you've done to give them a reprimanding. Like,
you just the Aes Sedai way.
You're the worst person in the world. I'm like, I have no money.
You are terrible
I'm a refugee. I couldn't go to the private hospital. I don't have money. No, Nynaeve. Tisk.
Yeah. These people should pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Okay, I read that part. So she's on her way to Rand, and then she's thinking about how Cadsuane had failed Rand and that she can't copy her tactics. So Cadsuane, bad example. Don't do that. What can she do instead? She is an Aes Sedai. How can she get Rand to trust Aes Sedai? There was one Aes Sedai that Rand trusted that got through to him, and that was Moraine. It's good to hear Moraine again. She's back in the picture, even just in people's thoughts.
From Nynaeve, of all people.
Indeed. This our girl Nynaeve has come a long way. So perhaps she should take a leaf out of Moraine's book instead. Perhaps not as submissive as Moraine was towards the end when she was yes sir, no sirring him in her desperate times. But she won't go in there all bull in a china shop either, so somewhere in between. She'll find her middle ground. By the time she reaches Rand's palace, she has formulated a plan. No one stops her from entering, of course, much to her delight. Some people still know how to treat Aes Sedai. So she commandeers some Soldaean soldiers and heads off in what she hopes might be the right direction for what she is looking for. There's 9 soldiers standing outside guarding the gates, and she goes, there's always too many. There's always somebody who's not supposed to be here. And the 3 of them raise their hands when she asks, who's not on duty? And they're like, oh, it's us. And he's like, all right, come with me. She takes those 3 with her. She finds the pantry that she was hoping to find, where more staff are just hanging about. These guys are dicing. She thinks about Matt during this point. It is the middle of the night, after all. Everyone's chilling. They're not expecting, to have Aes Sedai inspecting them. So she sends one of these workers that are lollying about to go fetch the docen. That's the head housekeeper in local parlance. And they jump to it, probably because she is Aes Sedai, and this Aes Sedai is marching around with soldiers, and she's very intimidating. One of the soldiers she sends to make sure that they actually wake the docen and bring her back. So off they go. Within minutes, the worker is back. That worked. With the docen, she's all disheveled after being woken up and rushed out of her rooms. It is the middle of the night. Nynaeve tells her to chill. She's not in trouble. They just need to have a chat. She dismisses everyone else, and they sit down. Nynaeve wants to know what happened to that messenger that her lady Chadmar. I'm not even going to try and pronounce Maleficent's name. She's just the lady Chadmar, whose palace we are in right now. Like, what happened to that messenger she had lost? Was he really dead? She needs the information. She needs first-hand information. That's the same messenger that got her in her own dungeons for disappointing Rand. Turns out he was sent to a questioner. Nynaeve wants to know where this questioner and dungeons are. Let's go. Now. The lady's like, what, like now? We go now? And she goes, yes, now. Go get dressed. So she does let Laurel, that's the docen's name, we'll call her by her first name now, go get dressed. But then they're off for real. Nynaeve, Laurel, the 4 workers from the pantry, and the 3 Saldaean soldiers that she commandeered from the gate. The dungeon is not under the palace, as you might think. It's in a whole other part of town, in the seedy kind of private dungeon part of town. It's quite a walk, plenty of time to think about many things, of which I will spare you. Again, she thinks about Emersfield and blah, blah, blah. Finally, they get there. It's a chandler's shop, a dealer of household items. This place seems to specialize in candle making. It's a candle making chandler, unless a chandler is a candle maker. But the online dictionary told me that it could sell various things.
Ah.
Yes. And I've lost my place. Oh, yes. So she leaves one of the soldiers with the group and takes the other 2 with her into the chandler's shop. Well, she thinks she does until she doesn't hear anyone following her. Turns out they only brought 1 lantern, so they're all just frozen with indecision in the street. Do we take the lantern with us and leave them in the dark? Or we go in the dark? Rolls eyes, Nynaeve channels ye old globe of light and leaves the lantern with the group, and in they go. She also weaves a ward against eavesdropping around herself, the door, and the soldiers, and then orders Triben, this is one of the soldiers, to kick it down, which he does on the first try with no hesitation. Good man. No noise either, as everything is warded, so no one heard that. They move inside. She sends the other soldier, Lurtz, to guard the back door, which he does sprightly for such a large man, and takes Triben with her. They head upstairs, and they find 2 rooms. They burst into the first, find a fat guy sleeping on the floor, and truss him up with flows of air, tie them off, and leave him there. In the next room, there are 2 men. They wake up a little bit quicker because they are slightly younger and not so fat. Triben just marches up to one of them and punches him in the stomach before he can make another sound, and Nynaeve wraps them both up in flows of air as well. And she floats them over, and Triben says that they have found the right place, that these 2 are far too old to be chandler's apprentices. They have calloused hands and no candle wax burns. I'm like, sharp dude. This Triben, new favorite guy. Triben is man.
Team Triben.
Vote for Triben. She asks Triben which one she should question and which one she should kill. Triben, being cool as fuck, plays along and chooses the guy on the left. He starts begging for his life as soon as she removes the gag of air, so she shoves it back and turns to the other guy. Maybe he's not so chatty and annoying. How do we get into the dungeon? He tells them there is a trapdoor downstairs hidden under the carpet. She regags this one too, brings them with downstairs, Triben fetching old Fatty next door along the way. Downstairs, she finds Lurtz with another captive, a young fellow, sitting on the floor. Nynaeve shoves the globe of light in his face. Ha! Now that's a Chandler's apprentice. Triben uncovers the trapdoor and jimmies it open with his sword, and they take the young one with them and head down the ladder. Triben first, in case Bashir ever hears about this and finds out he let Nynaeve go first. He doesn't want to deal with that shit. Lurtz brings up the rear with the other 3 prisoners. Behind door number 1.
Do like an elaborate, like a slide down the ladder?
Slides down. She's like,
sword
again,
out.
rolls eyes, Nynaeve. Jesus, men. Yeah, men do cool shit. Just deal with it. Behind door number 1, they find an empty room, but find knives and other torture devices, as well as the keys to the cells in a chest at the back. So Dungeons and Dragons. This room is empty, but there's a chest in the back.
Check for traps.
Get your thief to pick the lock, and there's more keys inside. Good thing you looked in that chest. The first cell that they unlock is empty, but the second one holds our dear Lady Chadmar. And boy, is she in a state. Disheveled does not describe her. No messenger, so they weren't lying. He is 100% dead. Well, it seems that way. So now it's time to question the questioners. The messenger had arrived 2 months ago. They were ordered to keep him there, alive. But a few days ago, when they opened the door to feed him, he was dead. He just died. Nobody did anything. They had put him to the question, but he didn't crack. His resilience was impressive, though, noticeable. And they knew he knew something, but he wouldn't speak of it. So the head torturer that they are questioning is like, I've never seen a man stand up to torture like this guy. Questioning like this guy. So Nynaeve, eventually, there's a lot of back and forth here, and accusations and denials, but Nynaeve reluctantly believes them. She sends Lurtz back upstairs with them, and then goes to check on the Lady Chadmar, like in passing as a second thought. Looks through the door, goes, let's do a little delving, just in case. I am a healer afterwards. What does she find? Poison. Tarch rot leaf, to be precise. The good old tarch rot. Everybody knows about that. She heals her, and then calls for Lurtz to stop, like, hey, come back here. She asks the questioners, who prepares the food for the prisoners? They go, ooh, the young lad upstairs, he's the guy. The lad is already up the ladder, the lad is already up the ladder, and Nynaeve calls to Triben to hold him there, like, stop that kid, don't let him get away, but he has already scuttled away, running for his life. They run outside, find him when they get upstairs, they rush outside, and they find him pinned under the 4 workers that they had brought along. They saw him scuttling out and thought, nah, we should probably hold on to this guy. Nynaeve will be mad. And they were right. Good job, guys. And that's how the chapter ends.
Good workers. These are the guys that were playing dice in the kitchen.
Yeah. Triben.
When she stormed in there. Yeah. And
Triben knows exactly what is going on inside Nynaeve's head. He watches her actions, and in like 2 seconds, he's like, okay, this is my role in this charade. And plays his part perfectly.
Soldier, so he's got some wits about himself. But
he's an experienced fellow.
Paint a beautiful picture of Nynaeve doing all heroic stuff. She takes men off duty without payment, just commands them, come and do stuff with me, threatens the lady of the house with arrest, fakely so, then tortures and threatens murder on torturers. This isn't very Aes Sedai behavior from Nynaeve, I must say.
Especially that, which one should we
Aren't you the one that's always telling us
kill?
that they torture people?
No. I'm rooting for this behavior. I'm just saying that is Nynaeve finally turning to become a dark friend? Or with all of this behavior?
No, you clown shoe.
Mute his mic,
Absolutely not.
Don't you have control of his mic? Like when she threatens to murder that one guy, Triben doesn't go, oh, murder, but Aes Sedai.
And he plays along because Triben's a dark friend as well.
Triben knows what's up.
There was one
friend. He's like, oh, cool, we're going to murder someone.
Really important bit here that I wanted to mention, but now I completely forgot about it in my sidetrack of how bad Nynaeve is.
Is it Triben's cool serpentine sword?
No, it wasn't his serpentine sword, which is Saldane, which made me think about Saldane swords.
About what?
Because we don't really...
Which are serpentine, right? Like they're
Yeah.
wavy
I
blade.
was thinking scimitar-y because there's who's got a scimitar? What nation is that? A Borderlanders as well? Is it the
A scimitar.
scimitary?
I'm leaning towards Sean Chan. Didn't Tuon have a
No,
scimitar?
Turak. I was
Turak
just
had
thinking Turak as well.
maybe
He had a hair-marked blade, but I mean, that blade could have been the blade of a... I don't know why I thought Turak as well.
That's in my mind. I don't know why.
Call back.
Billy, it's callback for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just remind me next time.
Okay. Yeah. Good
Carry on.
little
There's something that will
Detective
pop in my
Nynaeve.
head now that about that whole little bit there.
Okay. You want to hear my notes then? My little... I've got... What do I have? Like
Do it.
7 notes here. I like how the wisdom from Eamon's Field can look at a land with a missing king, seething with confusion, famine, and strife, and come to the conclusion that there could well be a Forsaken at work here. Like, she's come a long way, like she can read the signs in the population. Oh, Villy's just had an epiphany. Yes.
I remembered what it was. The description
Alright.
of the messenger by the lady of the house, Dolson, whatever, I can't remember her name or her title. So I'll just refer to her as the lady of the house.
Lady Chadmar.
It is the handsomest of boys. Like for me, they're right there, a handsome messenger. I'm like, Graendal, 100% fits the character, everything.
Yeah.
So emo. Completely compulsion rotted, beautiful
Brain.
person. Yeah. That's her handiwork for sure. I like the fact that Nynaeve, like, I know, Vil, you were talking about how she was reprimanding the family with the sick kid and stuff, but I like that she's, even in this moment, much like Egwene was with the other Aes Sedai, just always reinforcing the message that we need to work together, Nynaeve here is like, we're not your enemy, tell your friends, tell people they can come to us for help. Like, Nynaeve is a yellow through and through, right? So, like, if there are people that are sick, she would gladly heal them if people
And
just
reprimand them
approach
at the same time.
and reprimand, tell them how stupid they've been
And
for waiting
spank
as
the
long as they
baby
have.
as well for being sick.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think she would do that, but the rest of it certainly is in character. Don't
Just to see if
don't
its lungs
foist
work.
your dark friend ways on her. What have I said? Oh, okay. This is quite an interesting one to me, anyway. So you're gonna have to just grin and bear it. Nynaeve reminds me here of something that I and you as the reader know all along, but you don't, or I didn't spend much time dwelling on. That Rand has been beaten, bruised, and tortured so many times over. It is no wonder that this is how he has become. She's almost understanding. She thinks to herself, the Rand that she knows from Eamon's Field is still in there, but he's hiding away because he's been beaten and bruised so much. Think of, like, physically alone, the Heron brands, his tattoos of the dragons on his forearms are always painful. They're always in pain. The 2 wounds in his side, missing a hand, his eyes are fucked. Like, he is, that's just the physical pain that he's been captured and leashed and tortured, made to, choke men. Like, oh yeah, I guess, yeah. He's going to be a bit pissed off and angry and a little bit on the dark side.
That being said,
but it's just,
all of that was done at the hands of Aes Sedai. Future or present and
No,
past.
not all of that.
No, the Forsaken were Aes Sedai as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're going that far. Yeah, yes. Well, the Heron marks, I suppose that was Forsaken as well. The dragons
The dragon
are just...
tattoos, not so much. Paden Fane's cut, not so much. The wound from Ishamal, sure. The lost hand.
Don't forget
Cimarron
the
and
trapped in a tiny box, doubled over for
Trapped in a
week.
box.
How many
by
nights
Aes
was
Sedai.
he in there? Like, that's physical and mental. That's the worst of it.
Yeah.
Lewis Theron is still freaking about that from time to time.
So it's, I guess what I was noticing there is that we know all these things. These are not things we've forgotten. We've known about them, but they're just layered in over the course of the story, so frequently from the beginning that you kind of just become numb to it. And that is exactly what Rand has done, right? He's become numb to all this physical pain. When Semirog is using the domination band to inflict pain on him, the thing that it is like made to do, he just looks at her and he's like, you can't do anything to me anymore. This is nothing now. She's like, oh, fuck, what? Is this thing working? Is this thing on? So I feel bad for him, but I'm glad that Nynaeve can see that is why he is acting in this way, that he's not just being a stubborn idiot, but that she acknowledges like all the turmoil and the pain that he's been put through, both physical and emotional and mental as well.
Makes me think about, we got kind of during the recording of this over a period of time, like the continuous reinforcement of Two Rivers men don't harm women. From Matt, from Perrin, from Rand. Like, I will not do it, the counting of the names and all of that. To him getting to the breaking point and murdering two women who rightly deserved it at that point of time is to...
Let's be clear.
To rebuild this, like how hectic his whole arc is in torture. He's been tortured so badly. And to that point where domination bands on him, making him strangle the woman that he loves with the one hand that he has left. Like, okay, that just breaks everything. And now we've got this character.
Yeah. He is very much broken. Yeah. Right. Where else? What else did I have here? Nynaeve comes to the realization, like we said, that Moiraine actually had managed to work with Rand, and that's a big step for Nynaeve, who for so long blamed Moiraine for everything that had happened to all of them. So that's really great. But then she also contradicts herself, saying or thinking, it must be so frustrating to have so many people trying to control you. And then immediately she thinks it makes her job harder because it's actually her that he needs to be listening to. I'm like, fuck, Nynaeve, you were so close to being, like above it all and being objective, and then you just stepped in it again. I guess you can't help being Nynaeve.
I mean, we've said this kind of comment a lot, like, oh, so close to, for every character. So
and then they just revert to type, Yeah. I had a thought here when Nynaeve talks about hearing rumors. There is a rumor that the Aes Sedai were destroyed by the Sean-Chan. And I was like, oh, how does this line up with the tower attack? But later, with the meeting between Rand and Tuon, you see Tuon actually give the order for the tower attack. Yeah. So it hasn't actually happened yet. That is just a bullshit rumor. And then my last note is Triben. Haha, everyone's new favorite Soldayan soldier.
Yes.
Hashtag Team Triben. But that's it from me. So should we move along to our third chapter of the evening, which is chapter 33, called A Conversation with the Dragon. Vil, can we please have a conversation about what happened in this chapter?
Conversation? No. Maybe a reading?
No. Okay. Pack it up. Sleep well.
We are in the point of view of this incredibly bad Nynaeve. Breaking rules, kicking doors open, kidnapping people, taking off-duty soldiers from their R&R time, who has now gone and woken up the dragon. Can you imagine? She's now got someone and
wakes the dragon.
Quite literally and figuratively, in the sense that Rand is not stoked. If it was anyone else, he would send them to Bashir for a beating. Hold on, the dog wants to bark. Standing here by the window outside. Anyway, Rand exclaims, like I said, if this was anyone else, Nynaeve, I would have sent you to Bashir to get a whipping. But Curb is there, and he asks, who's this, what is the words he used for him, spindly little young fellow? And she explains the whole story. So I don't need to reiterate and rehash everything that just happened, because we just went through it. But here's the result. This young man here tried to kill her, and I'm certain that he killed the messenger. And Rand's already, cool, delve him, see if you see something funny. And she's like, well, what do you mean? But she does. And what does she find? Well, the little spindly webs into his brain of heavily laden compulsion, which is all proof that Rand it is Graendal. I say Rand, but I should rather say Luz.
Luz. Yeah.
It is Graendal.
He knows how like Graendal favored compulsion. She used it like willy-nilly, even though it like
It's
absolutely
her
destroys
thing.
everyone that it's been applied to. But yeah, she does. And she was particularly adept at it.
Rand then instructs her, cool, go to work. Unweave it. She's like, well, I don't know. So I can't do it. I can't see the weave. So it's got to be you. And then Nynaeve like psychs herself up. Like, well, if it's not me, he'll just get someone else. He won't give a shit. And they would go like laughing behind her back that, oh, she couldn't do it. Didn't could it. So Nynaeve, believing she can heal everything, goes to work on this boy's brain. Neurosurgery is a complex matter and not for the faint-hearted. And she tries to copy paste, Control Z, what Graendal does. And after 1 hour of bead dripping sweats and knipping blue wires and red wires, she lifts the compulsion, only to, for the first time, realize this lad's face. And he looks like the woman that she treated that fell off the wagon on her head and woke up days later. And she was in a bad way. This boy's in a bad way.
I think Rand explains to her how to do it, like with Lews Theron's knowledge. Is like, look at the weaves and do the reverse of those weaves. And
make a copy and sort of like
layers.
go backwards off it. But anyway, Rand then goes to this now drooling lad with clear cerebral hemorrhaging and all kinds of things happening in his brain. And does his whole, do you believe if I wished that you would be dead, I am the dragon reborn speech. And this boy does believe it. And he says to him, like, I will get her, the one that did this to you. Just tell me where. And the last 2 brain cells that he had, he summoned to give 2 words. Natrin's Barrow. And Rand's like, got it. And he did. And poor boy, he probably deserved it at that point in time. There was no healing that. And Nynaeve doesn't take this well at all. She believes that she could have healed it. She can heal Stilling. She can heal anything. But you know what? Like Rand has learned, even with the Kudenkaal and with Galando, you can't heal certain things, like death. This is where Rand then starts explaining to Nynaeve why he is so hard and why he needs to be, and brings in the mountain metaphor. How Tam told him about Mount Doom Mount Doom, sorry. It is Mount Doom? Dragon Mount.
Dragon Mount.
Yeah, Dragon Mount, and no one ever climbs it, but later understanding that no one ever climbs it because you can make it to the top, but you won't have the life and the energy to come back down. So you always save it for something later. But he realized for him to succeed, he needs to climb to that top and then die. And that's what's going to happen. But Nynaeve is like, surely we can find a way and whatever. But Rand is, no. The Taviran pull on Nynaeve is very strong, I feel, at this point in time. That even though she wants to push it in a direction, she's going along with Rand's tug, I want to call it, if anything else. You'd think that there's a lot stronger will in her to fight him when he says things like this, but she just eventually accepts and carries on as he explains his stance, and then picks up Min with one arm and is like, cool, I'm going to bed. Next thing, first the Sorshan, and after that truce, Graendal. And that's the end of that chapter.
Joseph, what you got?
Rand, when the kid dies, and he's like, oh no, he died. And he's like, yeah, figured that might happen. Knew that was going to happen. What do you mean you knew? Yeah, we needed the information. He's just a pawn. He's just a tool. Can't be sad about him.
And he was never going to survive with this level of compulsion on him, and he knew taking it off him would kill him, but at least this way, his death would not be in vain, and he could go get like I said, revenge for the boy, but also obviously take out a major player from the
Yeah.
shadow. So in his mind, absolutely worth it. Do you guys ever watch Deadwood? I mean, I think we've spoken about it a bunch of times.
Yes.
Do you remember the episode where Kristen Bell, Veronica Mars, when there's an episode where she and her brother come and Cy Tulliver shoots her with a very small caliber gun and she doesn't die. He shoots her in the head and she doesn't die, and her face goes all slack when she's shot, like immediately, almost like she's just had an instant lobotomy. That's what I imagined this boy, like just like dead face, drooling.
Oh, man, what came into my mind, and you may or may not have watched this, back in the 80s, there used to be a SABC TV show, Corporatie Stories, in English, corporation stories, and there was one specific story that they told about a girl who would always try and stop her brothers from kicking the felt flowers and destroying the plants, and she had like belligerent brothers and really cared about nature. And when they once chopped down the tree in the house or in the yard or wherever, she turned into a vegetable when the tree was chopped down, into a vegetative state. Also drooling. It's like a little bit of a sci-fi.
Did the tree hit her, or just from the anguish, the mental break from killing the tree?
Mental break of the tree, the killing of the tree had this psychological...
Wasn't that supposed to be a funny story?
Yeah, that's why this one stood out, because you always watch them because it was funny stories. And this was like, whoa, this was a dark one.
Heavy. Gosh. Yeah. Tough life for this Chandler's apprentice. Unless, I mean, he wasn't described as little apprentice. It's not described as being particularly attractive, right? So it's not someone that Graendal went and found because of their looks. So probably was a dark friend and found his way into Graendal's service via the shadow. So Vil, watch your back, really.
No.
But he was described as, like, probably when he was in his normal state, he was a bit, mentally deficient already. Like, he wouldn't speak to him. And he was like, like if you had spoken to him previously, he wasn't somebody that you could have a conversation with or anything. So he was already in a state to be manipulated, according to...
But
wasn't that from the compulsion?
The picture that he was taken into the employ and never really spoke anything there. But Graendal has been at work in that area for a very long time. So she could have easily started putting, just finding out, as we'll learn later, how many people she's got under her web of compulsion. She's basically got the eyes and ears all over that shop, everywhere in Bandar Eban.
Joe, you thought he was like a bit slow before even
to begin with,
stuff.
Well, I got the impression that the compulsion actually upgraded him, from a mental standpoint, to be able to be a messenger. And then when they took it off, he kind of went back to his previous state, but because it was so damaged, he was even more...
No, he wasn't a messenger. He was just a kid working in the candle shop.
Yeah.
He was...
Well, not
he
messenger,
killed
but
the messenger.
whatever
He was a pawn that was used to, knowing that this guy would end up there.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see. What other notes did I have here? Just the spoiling of the food that you had mentioned in the last episode, Vil, just around Rand. And
at this point in time,
Nynaeve seeing the aura again.
When he goes and speaks to the boy, the aura comes up, and when he delivers that speech, I'm the dragon reborn. Do you believe that if I think you to be dead, that you will be? Something like down that path.
Yeah.
And that's when the aura appears, and her tea that just got made was like stale
instantly
and bitter,
goes bad.
And love it.
So I get the impression that Rand knows about this power he has now, and he's using it to enforce his will on people, because he leans in and stares at this kid and goes all deep serious, and then uses
it's not
his aura.
Channeling the true power or anything.
No.
It's just menacing.
Like he knows he can menace people because he does it he tries it with Tuon later.
Well, he thinks about it.
Yeah, I'm very interested to hear
when did he figure this out? Like,
when did he figure it out?
Did he try it here and then goes, hey, wait, this is pretty cool. I can use this on. But only it works on the weak-minded. It's kind of like
he where he just looks at people and he speaks very softly and quietly. That really started when, after the Min episode, and he banished Cadsuane. I think since then, nobody can hold his gaze anymore. Like, people already struggled up until that point, but now it's like...
Since he touched the true power.
Yeah.
Since he's
but normally when I'm
with
specific times when he's trying to force people to his will, that the aura becomes more visible, like he's using it as a power. I'm just wondering if it was...
The first time he uses it...
consciously
on Cadsuane, and I don't think it is a thing of thought and consciousness. It manifests in his
intent.
various intent moments that he like. It's with Cadsuane, it's with this boy now, it's with Tuon in the negotiation. Like, I almost for a moment thought that there was compulsion being used on it, or try to.
Well, I mean, he would never stoop to that because he is still not a dark friend, so he's not trying to do anything like compelling anyone, but he is definitely conscious of this effect, Joe, and he ruminates on it, right? Like, he thinks about how he can do this and how he chooses it, and only Nynaeve still manages to hold his gaze or like still look him in the eye, and also only sometimes and stuff. But I think he is conscious of it. I don't think, like Willie saying, like in that Cadsuane moment, I don't think it was him trying to do it, but he has been behaving in that way because of his inner state, and has noticed that, people are now listening to me even more, and people seem even more afraid of me. So yeah, he's definitely using that to his advantage. I mean, as exemplified by this little speech that he keeps giving, right? Like, do you believe that I could just, will you to die and it would happen? And people are like, fuck, I don't know that you can't. Do whatever you say. Yeah. Dark rant. Getting real dark. Come on, Veins of Gold. Come on. Maybe, come on, chapter 34. Our next chapter. Are we ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't find it. I'll have to come back to that.
Chapter 34 is called Legends. Joe, how about a summary, you bloody legend?
Thank you. My comment on that was like, you would think it would be a chapter about us, but surprisingly, it's not. It's with our boy Matt. He's in a tent with Talmanes, Tom, Noel, Julian, and Mandevwin. They too are formulating a plan. Lots of plan formulation going on here. For getting into Trustair. Oh dear Lord, it's a short chapter, don't worry. So for getting into Trustair, version. 100%. Finding this woman who's been distributing swords, wanted posters of Matt and Perrin.
Yeah, it is. Here's that Monty Python joke.
Matt will not be caught off guard like he was in Hinterstap. He wanted a map of the town, which he got from a local guy, and he knows exactly where the Shaken Fist Inn is in the town, and all the buildings and streets and everything. He's not going to be caught off guard again. He can't go into the town himself because he'll be recognized immediately. All those pictures of him floating around, there are definitely more of them in this town. So he's sending in this crack squad of undercover infiltrators. He spent the whole night preparing elaborate backstories for them. Some might say he has over-prepared. In fact, some do. Tom in particular. He's being nice about it, though. Talmanes is being Talmanes about it, with his dry, deadpan sense of humor. Tom will be playing himself. And he'll take Harnan, Fergan, and Mandevwin as his apprentices, and Noel as his footman. All of these people see flaws in this plan immediately, and I will not go into it because it is quite silly. Talmanes will be playing a warder, and he's going to borrow Fenn's cloak. Fenn is going to let them use his cloak because he still feels ashamed that he let those two serving girls from Hinterstap slip away. And Matt sees no reason to tell him that they vanished into thin air through dark magic, as what's the point of bringing up the past? So, all of that sorted, he heads out to inspect the troops. He first stops by the cavalry. Talmanes brought 3 banners of horse. How much is a banner of horse?
Jody, don't do it to me.
17.
500.
I have no idea. So, anyway, he brought 3 banners of them. That's a lot, guys. These guys think themselves superior to the rest of the troops, as they are the cavalry. And they are camped apart, and more concerned with their horse's health and their feed, and that's the only thing they worry about. A good cavalry man puts his horse above himself. Good on you. Next are the crossbowmen. also with horses, so I don't know. They seem even better than cavalrymen. Got horses and crossbows. Talmanes brought nearly 4,000, he has a normal number, of mounted crossbowmen. These guys are practicing with their crossbows. They are trying to get their coordination better, not so much their aim. They want to work better in unison, so they do timing, reloading, firing, reloading in unison. And when 4,000 crossbow bolts are flying into enemy ranks, you need unison more than you need aiming. Matt is still not 100% happy with the crossbow crank for the reloading. It's pretty good, but it could be faster and it could be easier. You'll have to look into that. Next, he heads over to Aludra's canvassed, sheeted off area where she is building secret stuff. He's stopped by Domon, who won't let anyone inside, not even Matt in his own camp. He puts up a hand. No, you may not pass. While Aludra is behind the scenes, they're filling up a huge night flower with gunpowder. Eventually, Aludra allows Matt to pass when she's finished tapping on the thing with the hammer. She's got the dragon plans spread out on the ground, so he has a look at those. They have a very extensive list of required supplies written down as well. Basically, she needs all of the supplies in the whole world. And bat guano. But she knows a town that specializes in that, so that's not going to be a problem. The rest, Matt's buddy, the Dragon Reborn, needs to organize. Matt promised that his buddy could organize this stuff. They were, along with all the Bell founders in the whole world as well. That's another thing that Rand has to sort out. There's a little tension between Matt and Aludra still. They were getting pretty friendly before Tuon showed up, but Aludra doesn't want to talk about it. Oh, Leilwyn is there too, but she doesn't do or say much useful during this interaction except some snarky comments. Matt decides that these plans of the dragons are too valuable to be left lying around on the ground, so Aludra agrees to let him take them for safekeeping if he keeps them in his gold chest. Chest of gold. The chest isn't made of gold. Before leaving, he asks her if she might have some insight into those crossbow cranks. He thinks that she is pretty smart about these things, but she says that this is not her wheelhouse. Sorry, dude. I'm smart, but this is not mine. Just then, Olva runs up. Someone has come to camp asking for Matt. Talmanes sent him to fetch Matt, and there is a woman in camp asking for him, and she has those wanted posters with her. Bloody ashes! Upon arrival, he finds Varen and her warder Thomas. He's still going strong. Varen and Matt are old friends. According to Google AI, the last time they were together was in Book 4, The Shadow Rising, specifically in the Stone of Tyr, when they were in each other's presence. And I kind of corroborated this with Tarvalon Library and other sources. Okay. I'm lying. It was just one website. I just wanted to sound like I'm really into this.
Like a thorough researcher.
Yes, that's it. It was Varen who has been distributing wanted posters of him. She's been looking for him for quite some time, and against her will? I suppose the future chapters will explain why she believes that. Turns out the local guy he got his Trustair map from went straight to Varen after helping Matt, and he ratted him out. Maybe not straight to, because he only talked to Varen an hour ago, and she's already there. Even though the town is a half a day's march away. Matt puts two and two together and figures she has traveling, which she confirms. She figures he's trying to get to Andor with this army of his and offers to get him there by this evening. That would save them 20 days' march. And then they can get to Aludra's dragons into production that much sooner. Things are looking up. But Matt hates the One Power, so we'll see how that goes. Matt wants to know what she wants in return. There's always something from you, Aes Sedai. And she says all that she wants is to be free of his Taviranness. She claims that he has forced her to wait in these mountains for him. Again, she seems to be there against her will. Matt wants to know why she feels forced, so they head into his tent for a proper little chat. Talmanes is sarcastically bummed out that there will be no undercover infiltration in the end. And that is the abridged, much better version of this chapter that does not include silly backstories of someone clearly trying to be funny, Brandon Sanderson, and not quite getting there.
No. I mean, it is humorous, but it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Like Matt's humor in the past, in the RJ books, was not so like spotlight on it. It was more
Yeah.
like offhand and off page.
Quippy, witty.
Yeah.
This is planned. This is 6 hours of his night that he spent writing pages and pages of notes.
Both of you
No,
Yeah.
you're wrong.
are
Billy.
wrong.
No.
I thoroughly
Did
enjoyed
you?
Matt's backstory, and more so him trying to give Manduin this character, and
With his
Manduin
aunt.
doesn't understand about his
Why would he
aunt, his
abandon
great
his aunt?
aunt, and he doesn't want to abandon his great aunt. And when all of this is done and passed, he's like, "Well, can I go back to my great aunt now?" Like, really being in character. So
Yes,
I
his
laughed.
method.
I laughed and I enjoyed it. Thank you, Brandon. I thought it was
Yeah,
very
look, I don't
enlightening.
mind it, but it's distracting. Like when we're coming up to like the end of the story, right? Like things are
You
happening.
cannot just have Dark Rand back to back. You've got to have
No, but you can
Manduin
have
and his
Rad Matt
aunt
instead
and
of stupid
Yes.
lame Matt.
Yes,
thought it
I
was-
prefer Rad over stupid
I'm not.
lame.
That's
Remember, let's just
personal
go
taste,
through
right?
Matt in his past the encounters with villagers. He rode into one, and then a peddler sunk into the ground and got eaten alive by the soil. Then he
Yep.
rode into another one, and everyone murdered everyone like a full-on purge, and then woke up the next day to be there. Of course, he's gonna have a backstory and fucking mission and 7,000 soldiers
just
behind him for the next
overcorrecting
village.
completely. Yeah.
Like, I am not taking any fucking chances with this village.
and then Varen rocks up in camp, like all of
Yeah,
it unnecessary. How many hours did he burn the night before just like coming up with all this bullshit? I had very few notes for this chapter. 2, in fact. One is Matt admitting that he only sometimes thinks of Aegean as Leilwyn, so that explains his sort of like flipping between the names a couple times. My other note is another lake, Joe. A small one.
Just a
Trustair is a
pond.
town by a lake. Or they camped near a lake. There's a lake nearby somewhere, a small lake. I'm now fully on lake watch after we said there's only one lake in Randland.
Project Late Watch. Yeah, look, I need a bigger map. That's all I'm saying, because on this tiny map, it's A4. And it's
You
very
need
map.
hard.
a map
Bigger lake.
with some resolution.
Even with my glasses on, I can't. Yeah. Where's your map,
glasses? Your glasses ain't going to up the resolution.
No, they're not. Confirmed.
Mine's on the wall right here next to me. I must say, I haven't scoured it for lakes.
You should. You're missing
Have
out.
you had any observations or little tidbits you want to throw in there, Vil?
Mandarin, like just living
that.
his backstory is
Nothing
like
about the
method
dragons,
acting.
Aludra. Leilwyn apparently now helping Aludra. She's like a Illuminator's apprentice.
Mm. It's bat guano, ammonium nitrate.
Oh, yes, yes.
She's making like solid gunpowder, big explosions. What else? What else should I have noticed?
Nothing. I don't have anything else.
No, she's making cannons. She's got cannon plans. Matt makes sure that Varen does not see the cannon plans.
Mm-hmm.
Smart
As does
move,
Aludra, right? Like with all her elaborate sheets all strung up between the trees so that no one can see anything, and Bel Domon standing guard at the door. But all right, not too much to lift out of that chapter, just gearing up. It's actually nice to have Varen with Matt again, like just a bit of Aes Sedai that we know is savvy, like knows what's going on, knows what's at stake, not Jolene and Teslin and Edicina with their sort of like ramblings. Varen is on mission, right? Even with her dual nature. But then let's move ahead to our final chapter for this episode, which is chapter 35. It is called A Halo of Blackness. Vil, don't let the blackness of your own halo prevent you from sharing a summary with us.
Do you believe, if I willed it, that I can make your mic mute from here?
For yourself, certainly, but not from here.
We are in the point of view of the Everdark Grand, and they are pulling into Falmay. You know that place out on Toman Head, a little spit of land. We've been there before. It's meeting time. Last time he was there, he beat a Swordmaster. He had the Cinema in the Sky fight. It was just fantastic sword-to-sword action. None of that this time around. We've got a great visual explanation of how it looks. There's the rock and all about. It's a Hasselbuff of Sean-Shan might and power. But Bran is only focused on one thing, and there must be there has to be a peace. There has to be a truce with the Sean-Shan. Nynaeve is with him in his entourage, and she also remembers their last visit to Falme and reminds him of that, where he got stabbed and all the other bad things that happened. Nynaeve acknowledges to Rand that he has now, after he told her about Lord Turak, that he bested because he was not allowed to channel there, that he then has a right to carry that Heron Mark blade. And Rand's like, well, it doesn't matter because no one saw it, so whatever. I'll still carry the blade. But yeah, Rand is spending a huge amount on this meeting. But he doesn't go unprepared. Before he even slides off the horse, he has a little internal battle with Luce. He gets hold of the power and also pulls the access key from his little latch patch on the horse, puts it on his inner pocket, and Nynaeve can see that he's actually using it. Like the hands, or the little globe in the hand starts glowing faintly, and then another 100 Asimar kills themselves down on the island somewhere because Rand's using it.
Some of them came back from the dead just to kill themselves again.
It's like the last few that was there, like, we're not dead yet. It's like, stick to the hand, die now.
And that statue was destroyed.
That was the female
that was
one.
the female one.
It's just some randos outside of what's it, Kyrian now?
Oh, it's
killing
Kyrian.
themselves.
Yeah, that one is being dug up. Anyway, Nynaeve notices that Rand is going through something internally as this all happens. Asks if he's okay, and he replies like, "Yeah, we are fine." Okay, Rand.
Not a typo.
Like, not a typo. We are fine. The plural. Ahead is a table. Tuon is sitting there. Rand's like, holy shit, am I coming to meet a child? Then he realizes as he gets closer, oh no, she's not a child. She's just a very diminutive, small woman. And he just pulls straight up. Then we change point of view to Tuon. Now she's surprised at how young Rand is. A man that is full of confidence, walking like he was trained by someone to do, what's that, cat crossing the courtyard? So he's probably pulling cat crossing the courtyard up to Tuon. Nynaeve and the Ashaman makes her feel very unsettled. These untrainable men. So I think they must have had a little go at trying to train them as Damani. And of course, the Marath Damani, we've been past that and her perspective and view of them. But she needs to maintain calm, and she also gives the instruction to her Deathwatch guards. Like, there's no stepping out of line here. We need to just have a conversation. Rand walks up, sits down. He doesn't ask, he doesn't assume. And all around in the background, lightning is streaking a dry sky. And she's like, omens up the wazoo right now.
So many omens.
Rand then sits down. He confirms who she is. She does the same, because Rand just sits down. The Nine Moons daughter, Raven, what's the title? I can't even remember now all of a sudden. Daughter of the Nine Moons. And she's like, oh, Dragon Reborn. It's like, yep, nice acquaintances. Rand leads forward and he says, we will make a truce here today. He demands it. And everyone behind her is like, whoa, speaking to her like this. Looks in the eyes, no respect. And then Lucia hisses at Rand. And he immediately looks at her and says, tell your bodyguard to relax. And she's like, listen, it's not my bodyguard. This is my truth sayer.
What do you mean?
It's like, seen through it. Yeah, that's your bodyguard. I can see it. Rand just snorts at it, lol.
He's got 100,000 female bodyguards. He knows what a female bodyguard looks like.
Looks like
in his maidens.
Tuon wants the terms. Rand is just like, this is a necessity for the last battle. When I die at the last battle, do whatever you want with the world. It wouldn't matter to me. I'll be dead.
Yeah.
But I need to get us all there first and win the last battle. Then you have this to do. But there's prophecies that collide here. They have their own prophecy. Rand has their own prophecies, and there's interpretations and mixed interpretations of such prophecies. Tuon tells him or asks him that he believes that the last battle is close. And Rand's like, have you not smelt the tea? Like, come on, it's real
tea.
close.
Mm-hmm.
And Rand says to her, why must we fight? And Tuon then brings back, like, we came back to a fractured land. All your people forgot your oaths. And, like, how many thousands of years should oaths be standing? How many generations is it acceptable for an oath to stand? That was a side thought. Anyway,
Forever,
there's
apparently.
various points of perspectives, but all of it for Rand is just pushing to the last battle that he needs. But Tuon is like, no, you need to bend the knee. Rand is like, nah, not gonna happen. You with your foul leashes, that's a deal breaker as well. No. Yeah, very touchy subjects, and she decides, okay, I need to get more out of him. So she changes the conversation to, what about Matrim Kuthon? And Rand's like, what, Matt? Like, that actually blindsides him a little bit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Matt? And she's like, yeah, no, he bloody well kidnapped me. And he's like, oh, well, if he kidnapped you, he must have had a really good plan. And she's like, oh, yeah, no, he's a bit of a scoundrel. And Nynaeve's like, what? You can't call Matt a scoundrel. And she pipes up and just throwing words around and sings Matt's praises. Matt would have been so proud of Nynaeve right there and then.
I was proud of Nynaeve.
All of us. Rand stands up because he's now wanting to assert some dominance over the situation. And the Death Watch guard behind Tuon draws the sword. And Rand just looks up and glares at him. And it starts. And he does his whole, I will, we need this peace. And almost like sets this dark, and this is where she starts feeling that yes, it needs to, like all of the reasons to why this should happen, and then before she can let the words out, yes, she says no, not you will bow before me, Rand Althor. As the prophecy said, he has to bow before the crystal throne. Rand then, very well, gets up, turns around, doesn't say a thing, and just moves away. Gets on his horse, and Tuon sits in silence with a whole cadre of people around her there. Very long till Rand has gone out of sight, and gone is when she could only gather herself from the severity of this meeting. And then she just immediately stands up and announces herself that she is now the Empress, which makes 100% sense to me at this point in time, because she wasn't the Empress at this meeting. Nope. He would not have bowed in front of her. And I think she realized that in the thinking.
Yeah.
And thus is done. She has announced herself as the Empress, and then also pass on the words to Missanghi. We strike the tower now. And that's the end of that chapter.
I think she sends Missanghi to tell Yulan.
To Yulan. Sorry,
yes.
Missanghi to tell Yulan. Time to strike. Get
pass
those.
We can't allow the Dragon Reborn to build more power or something like that, or become more powerful than he is at the moment. Like, she realizes, oh, fuck, this guy's going to be trouble. Yeah, Jody.
Hectic. I slightly remember this. I remember that I should remember that Rand does bow to her to get her to concede.
Eventually, yes.
eventually. I thought this was going to happen here. But obviously
Me
she's
too.
not the Empress yet. And then, okay.
And I remember reading this chapter originally and being like, oh, what? We were so close here. Were they going to drag this on even more? I was so annoyed by the Sean-Chan. This time around, I'm actually kind of impressed by Tuon, like resisting the Taveran urge. Like she held strong, because she does still believe that, the Demane are dangerous and they need to be collared for everyone's safety. She's still trying to bring order. And the way that she's been indoctrinated, like no one commands the royal family of the Sean-Chan, right? Like, it is their duty to bring order, and therefore they cannot bend to anyone else's will. But it was interesting to note that she thinks, remember when Rand arrives and the seats are at the same level?
Yes.
She did this despite the fact that there's numerous reasons for her to be elevated above him. That's even as the daughter of the Nine Moons, not the Empress yet. She believes that even her princess status still puts her above the Dragon Reborn.
The Dragon Reborn. I don't know.
It seems a bit messed
now,
up.
there's a thing to consider here that we think when you're reading it, like she should have come a lot further and understand these people and understand their ways. Like we're in book 12 and they still don't understand each other. But this is probably, and okay, maybe if you call Tylee, the Queen. No, the Queen, like the Thailand then, where a ruler from the Sean-Chan has spoken to rulers from our side to try and work out where they should meet in the middle or if they should meet at all.
Mm-hmm.
So there has been no formal conversations. That's why Tuon's mind is not going to be changed here at this meeting and hasn't changed at all. She's got some influence from Matt about maybe against the slavery and all that kind of stuff. But she's fully fixed on, no, this land is our land. You broke your oaths. We first got to put everything back together, and then you got to bow to me. Like, no flexibility in that whatsoever, and it's understandable since it's never been discussed with anybody in power on this side of the ocean until this very second. And this does not go well.
And they've been indoctrinated, right? Like the blood and everyone, for their whole society to work, all these things must be true, and therefore, like even their version of the Graendal cycle, exactly. Their version of it is called the Essenic cycle, and in it, where these references of like the Dragon Reborn having to bow to the Crystal Throne, in the in-world lore, or like from the reading I've done, it seems like scholars from the world of the Wheel of Time, from within the world, think that the Essenic cycle was altered with propaganda to make sure that the Crystal Throne is seen as this ultimate power, right? Like that they edited the Essenic cycle, and that,
the Graendal cycle was edited.
Yes.
They took a version of it with them and changed it.
Exactly.
I can imagine that all the Randlanders, when Arthur Hawkwing's kin all hopped onto boats and fucked off out into the ocean. So like when Dennis the Menace left the orphanage and everyone
Arthur
lifts
Hawkwing
the balloons, goes like, oh, his son left.
His son left.
Yeah, it's like,
He stayed.
yay, they're gone, these pricks. Forget your
But they
oaths,
weren't.
they're never coming back.
And the pricks that left were just the people from those countries, right? Like Arthur Hawkwing's rule was by bringing a bunch of existing countries in the Westlands together under Arthur Hawkwing, whom they were eventually happy to follow. He was revered. So it's not like, oh, now they've all fucked off. It's like, oh no, he sent his son and a bunch of settlers over to Sean-Chan to go do more conquering and unification on that side. They did not fuck off at all. But the point about the Essenic cycle and the Dragon Reborn bowing to the Crystal Throne actually does come true. Like you said, Joe, Rand does eventually bow to her. So maybe the Essenic cycle is not tampered with, but these events have to happen for it all to. And I'm assuming that Rand does bend the knee to Tuon after his moment of enlightenment, where he goes, it's just my ego sitting down on my knee, compared to the price of the world falling apart, is a small price to pay. I'll just do it.
Right.
Like, oh, it's not a big deal. I just do it. Okay, cool. And then carry on living my life.
Like everybody who swears oaths to the Sean-Chan. Like all the commoners as
all
well.
the Rand,
Yeah, sure. I
Westlands,
there's my
I'll
oaths,
swear
and they
that.
go,
It's
okay,
cool, fine.
well, you can just go back to living your life.
I think didn't Matt also? Matt swore them as well, but like didn't hold to them or something because it didn't mean anything. I'm sure Tuon has a thought. I'll have to go find this now, but I'm sure Tuon has a thought about not Matt like on page, but like in passing, he was like, okay, cool, yeah, sure, you guys are the rulers now. Anyway, I'm going to carry on doing my own thing. I'll go find out where I got that idea from. But Tuon thinks to herself about the Essenex cycle like, he doesn't seem to have gone blind yet. Do you remember reading that?
Yes.
In the Essenex cycle, it says, I am here at the end of time. When the many become one, the last storm shall gather its angry winds to destroy a land already dying, and its center, the blind man, shall stand upon his grave. Then there he shall see again, and weep for what has been wrought. So that's the part in the Essenex cycle that speaks about him being blind. But Tuon, just like everyone else interpreting prophecies here, including Rand, is misreading this, because what this is actually in reference to is Veins of Gold, where Rand stands or is on top of Dragonmount, Lews Theron's grave.
Yes.
And his eyes are opened to the reality of like the cyclical nature of man, his own reborn status as Lews Theron, as an evolved being, and he sort of has that epiphany, and that's how he was blind, but then he sees what really has happened at the top of Dragonmount. So that's what the Essenex cycle is saying, but Tuon is like, he doesn't seem to have gone blind yet. Just reading this like real literal meaning again, just like Moraine had done in the past, just like Rand himself does when like his blood is going to be on the rocks of Shal Ghul. It doesn't say anything about him dying in that line, but just that his blood's going to be on the rocks, and there will be like you must die to live again or something like that, which for him would be hard, but Rand is also to understand, but Rand is also aware of like the Forsaken being like reincarnated and stuff. Like there is, as we like to say lately, there is wiggle room for interpretation here, but everyone is so dead set on their interpretation being the right thing that like Elida as well, right? Like when she read about like the streets of the Black Tower will run with blood or some place, like, and she just assumed that meant that the Aes Sedai were going to go just destroy it, but that wasn't it at all. Just another example of misinterpreting a prophecy. Any other notes from there? I have a couple. Surprise, surprise.
No, this is the part where he leans in on the table and tries to use his Taveriness, because usually it's like, but his dark Taveriness. I'm sure he knows it's his darkness. It's not just, I'm going to try use my Taveriness. Or is it? I don't know. Discuss.
He's aware of all those things, so maybe just like he's throwing everything he's got at her and hoping that some of these mechanisms will come to his aid.
Eyeballing her over the table.
You guys, you said the word typo, Joe. I actually had a typo in this chapter.
Yeah?
Rand's horse's name is misspelled as Ty-Dye-Shear instead of Ty-Dye-Shar.
Shear. Maybe it got sheared. You know, like sometimes they shave a horse nice after the winter. Give it a nice smooth reflection. And then they said, she changed its name to Tie-Dye Shear.
Well, I said Tie-Dye Shear, but it's just spelled H-E-R at the end, not H-E-A-R.
There goes your whole theory, Bill.
Or the horse sang really well and they was like, this is Tie-Dye Shear.
Shit.
Wow.
Rand, when he embraces the Source, is left like huddled over his saddle because he still has to fight Lews Theron for control of Sidene. Come on, Lews, you agreed. You're going to die at the final battle. Can you just not make every single attempt to hold Sidene this absolute fight for life or death? It's annoying.
He thinks everything's about him.
Yep. Rand thinks
he doesn't get the power and he cries in the corner of Rand's brain.
Well, or starts weaving death gates and shit all over the place.
Yeah, that's a time.
Rand comments on his blurred vision here that it's still fucked up after Semirog's attack when he lost his hand, but he's just gotten used to it now. Jesus, he is.
I mean, listen. After we were talking about his physical pain that he's been through, a little bit of blurriness in the eyes is nothing in comparison. He could deal with this.
I mean, I prefer my balefire wielding Dragon Reborn to actually be able to see where he's pointing that shit.
He remembers Tuon and says to her, like, I saw you
from his visions
when she brings up Matt. And then all of it's like, I saw you. Like, how did you see me? It's like, don't worry about that. No time to explain.
Yeah.
He's gone crazy.
There's 2 times when he interrupts Tuon, like while she's speaking. She says something about like you must understand this is, and he's like, this is not negotiable, and then carries on talking. And that's when the like Death Watch guard like pulls his sword out a little bit and then is shamed for doing it. But yeah, like Rand just like talking right over her.
And she told him, like, and Tuon's like, what did I tell you guys about keeping your shit together while the Dragon Reborn is here? Everybody
can't have any slip-ups.
First guy, 5 minutes in, 5 seconds in, drawing his sword. Yes, you know your eyes.
What she was saying, Vil, is who had trained him? Likely he had the finest teachers to prepare him in the ways of kings and leaders. Yes, Lan and Moraine. Lan to how to literally walk like a king, and Moraine in how to behave like one. There was a reminder here of Tuon's opinion of the Marath Damane, that they are unnatural and dangerous. And then she refers to the men that can channel as Soravande Dune, black-souled tempests. My note was dramatic much?
Yes. Well, the old tongue is a very dramatic language. Everything in it is.
It is.
Well, at least maybe when you translate it, it sounds more dramatic.
It is cool to see from the point of view of someone who is being influenced by a Taveran. So like how she wants to say yes, and like she's describing the feeling, and eventually she can still resist and she utters no. But it's the first time, like we only ever see it from the point of view of the Taveran, like Perrin rousing all the farmers to go fight in Eamon's Field and that sort of stuff. So it's cool to see the other side.
The Jedi mind trick doesn't work on her. She's
almost
only works on the weak-minded.
Which again, in this chapter, kind of like for the first time ever, I'm coming out of this going, fuck, well done, Tuon, for resisting that. Like Randy's being very demanding. He's not here to treat, like he is demanding everything, and she actually stands up to him, which in his current state especially is pretty impressive.
She's also had some training.
Ballsy after he's holding onto the power with the access key in his pocket. Like, oh, cool. I don't need you. Let me just kill you and all these people here right now. Just burn the whole of Falmagon.
And then my last note was just here. So here we have the order to General Yulan to attack the White Tower, so that Rand doesn't gain any more power. But I mean, effectively, it kind of heals the tower, because it's during the attack that Egwene sort of like, takes control and Elaida is captured. And that led me to think like, oh shit, how many Aes Sedai did they actually fly off with in that raid? Because it was at least somewhat successful with Elaida being captured and collared as a Damane. And it's around 40 women in total. So more than 24 Aes Sedai and a couple novices and accepted. So, okay. They captured 10 Damane, so the difference is only about 30 channelers. And I think Egwene, or the forces of the light, kill a couple of the Raken, like not an awful lot of them, but it certainly wasn't the raid that they had set out to accomplish. But the real clincher of that raid on the tower is by capturing Elaida, the Seanchan learn traveling.
Yes. And isn't Rand thinking about this right now? Like how fortunate he is to have traveling, and that if the Seanchan ever get it, like that's his one thing now, is that these guys can't travel.
Yeah, that's coming. So yeah, that's it from me. So out of those 5 chapters, did you guys manage to pick some favorite moments?
I did.
Yes.
Jody, maybe you should go first for a change.
Yeah, my favorite moment was when they took that compulsion off that kid's mind and then he died.
Too much talk, I love it.
That one was for Willie. No, my real favorite moment is Nynaeve's entire chapter, where she was walking in, getting Triburn, what's his name?
Triburn.
Come with me.
Curb.
Let's. Blah, 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 blah. This, that. Sorting shit out. Taking charge. I loved it.
Yeah, very
She's
cool.
back in the saddle. She's doing something. Because, I mean, how many books has she just been standing around in the background? Like when Rand banishes, that chapter where Rand banishes Cadsuane. And like, Nynaeve's in the room too. Like, since Lan left, she's kind of like nothing to do. So
Yeah.
she's back in action.
Yeah, but now she is filling that void of Cadsuane, right? I think Rand even comments on it. It's like, now that Cadsuane is gone, Nynaeve is his closest Aes Sedai advisor. Yeah, cool shit. It was a cool chapter. I really enjoyed that. It's sort of like, again, I think I've used this term before, but you know, like when Marvel started making the Daredevil TV shows and stuff, they had this like idea of like the street level hero. Like this is like street level chapter, you know, like it's not Nynaeve cleansing Sidene with Rand. It's her just like kicking in doors and like capturing jailers and interrogating people. It's street level stuff. It's cool. How about you, Vil?
Mine isn't one specific moment in one chapter, but more all of the perspectives where Rand is now describing and acting in the state of mind that he's in. Like there's this character progression that happens very rapidly now. I'm looking forward to Veins of Gold. No, progression, because sometimes to get to where you need to go through the darkest. Like that is the final thing that puts him into realization. Like he needed to understand all of these dark things. He needed to do these things that's happening. This is
going to get a bit worse still again as well.
Next
the day is always darkest right before the dawn.
Before the dawn.
Is this is it?
And I'm enjoying it. I really am enjoying it, not out of the dark friend or perspective of that, because it's
just from
relatable.
appreciating the character arc.
Yeah, the character arc, but also in life, it's relatable. Like shit sometimes is not easy. You have to sometimes go through the really hard stuff.
Simplification of life. Shit is sometimes not easy.
Yeah.
Classic.
Just be careful of the lessons you learn here, because I think you can learn from Rand's mistakes, right? Like the answer to life being hard is not to harden up yourself. It's to become more flexible.
No, you got it. The answer to life is to actually read the whole character arc and understand every point of it, and then go to the end where you enlightenment.
Yeah, just skip to that part. You don't have to go.
Just skip to the end. There you go.
No. I like the little nitty gritty detail. And like I said as well, he's touched by the Dark One at this, and I think he knows it. I think he can sense, feel it. There's something there. He doesn't quite know. He can't rely on Luz, because whenever he thinks about that power, Luz cowers and cries.
I don't know where I read it, but I feel like somewhere in the not too distant future, maybe you've actually come across it. He says to Nynaeve or someone that the time for hiding is over. The eyes of the Dark One are fixed on me. They know where I am. I'm not hiding anymore. Like it's go time.
When does Avienda give him the dagger, the bronze dagger?
I think it's like Memory of Light.
Right at the end.
It's when he goes to Shaiol Ghul, right? Like when he is walking into the lion's cage. Yeah.
I'm going to go right to the Dark One. Oh, you should take this.
Yeah, you should take
Game
this.
changer.
You can't see you. Yeah, it's nifty.
Would have 100% died immediately. Not without that.
In this stretch of chapter was me laughing out so loudly at Manwin and his storied misunderstanding. Like, I want to be an honorable person. I don't want to be this
Didn't he go find an eye patch or something to like get into character and stuff as well? Like, I feel like he had like a little prop or something that he was also using. Yeah,
it was funny. I loved it.
I mean, in juxtaposition to like Rand stuff, maybe this is what Brandon's doing, right? Like trying to keep it light before we get into the really dark stuff. Any other honorable mentions, Vil?
Nah, that's me.
My favorite moment is Cadsuane admitting flat out to the Wise Ones that she had failed. Nobody not a Wise One would ever hear those words come out of her mouth. It just shows like how she respects them and how they then also respect her. They immediately tell her not to fret, like Rand is bloody impossible, right? The Kara Khan is stubborn beyond all men, Cadsuane Sedai. You have no toe towards us. And then they start plotting together. But it's like, my honorable mention is Cadsuane giving Nynaeve a nod of like, respect. You knew what was up, and these other women don't. But like for Cadsuane to actually just the words "I have failed" seems so incongruous with her whole shtick, right? Like that. I just like the fact that now with these interactions with Soralia and with the other wise ones, she feels like she has enough respect for them for herself to also be completely open. Which is
you can't teach
rare.
an old dog new tricks. Yeah,
Apparently.
even Cadsuane has character growth after 300
Favorite
years.
momenty for me. That is like manipulation. Like no one ever like stop plotting around Rand. Stop needing to control him. Stop plotting.
Yeah, my plots failed. I was a failure.
Stop
Let's get back to plotting.
before he balefires you
plot.
into oblivion. Like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it is necessary because Min has said that Cadsuane is necessary. Like, she does need to teach Rand how to laugh again. So
yeah, laugh after he
the pattern
balefired
will
her out of the pattern.
That was funny.
Balefire. That was a good laugh.
Yeah, people are always misinterpreting visions and prophecies, so maybe we're looking at this all the wrong way.
I have two more honorable mentions.
Oh, geez.
Another one is I totally got tricked. Like when Nynaeve is like faffing around with her herbs with the sick kid. I was like, why is she still messing around with herbs? But she uses them in a smart way, like as a distraction, Joe, but also for the kid's body to deal with the intense healing she was about to do. I don't think Nynaeve's method of healing leaves them hungry, like the old Aes Sedai method does. Remember, like it's more, but the body still has to do all the work. So she gives the kid herbs to help with that. So she's just like this complete yellow. Like she is. Yes, highly skilled with the weaves, but then still knows how to still supplement it with like some herbs and stuff, like just going the extra mile, which I really appreciate coming from Nynaeve. And of course it's Nynaeve that does that. That's so her. And my final honorable mention is just Triben.
The coolest guy.
Just loved his little cameo.
Yeah.
Off page, Triben went the next day to his captain and said, oh yeah, last night I did 4 hours of overtime. He's like, who approved that? And for that, you just go spend some time in the barracks. Go do overtime. What bullshit's this?
Triben will just say,
no one helped him.
You know the dark-haired Aes Sedai that is the Dragon Reborn's #1 go-to advisor and confidant? She told me to go do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
go tell her.
You didn't get a proper pass. No pay.
Alrighty then, to our listeners, send us your favorite moments, your theories, corrections, answers to our many questions, or just say hello. You can do so using any of the social media links in the episode description, and at our website, bloodandashespodcast.com, you can also leave a voice message. We can splice it into the show, or even buy a t-shirt or a hoodie, whatever your heart desires. Please rate and review the show on your favorite podcast app, and then when you're done with all of that, get comfy and dive back into the gathering storm in preparation for next time on Blood and Ashes. Which I should say at this moment is going to be slightly delayed. I'm going to get ahead of it this time and not have to make a special episode to announce that there's going to be a delay. But in our next recording cycle, Jody is abandoning us by the side of the road. Like,
again, 'tis my fault.
Yes. But so we'll miss the next recording cycle, so it'll be 4 weeks until the next episode from when you hear this, rather than the usual 2.
Oh, that means you got a lot of time to get your jazz in, get your notes in.
Jazzing.
Yeah, write big essays for Moritz to encourage.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yes, lots of time for feedback.
Voice
and
notes.
theories.
Voice notes. Make it a bumper, like 4 hour.
Yes.
Wow, bumper.
Well, on that note, our next episode will cover chapters 36 through 40, which is another 5-chapter stretch, just like tonight, which is exciting to me. We're burning through this book pretty quickly, hey? Like it's only another couple of episodes and we're done, which is great. Not that the book's going to end, but it's just great that we are churning through it, and it is super entertaining so far. These chapters are going to be called, chapter 36 is The Death of Tuon, which is obviously where she is renamed to Fortuona, I assume. A Force of Light, News in Tel'aran'rhiod, A Visit from Veren Sedai, and The Tower Shakes. Willie, have you read up to chapter 40 yet?
A Force of Light is where I had to stop and just take a breather.
Okay, so only 2 chapters ahead. All right.
Yeah.
We're getting into it now. If the things that we expect are going to happen in this book, aka the White Tower attack, that's pretty much what I'm looking forward to the most. Then that is imminent, which is super exciting to me.
That's how.
And there's only 3 episodes left of this book.
Yeah. Ooh, crunch time. But that is all going to be covered in our next episode, which, like we said, will be 4 weeks after this one has come out. So until we see you then, I will say sleep well and wake.
Live long and prosper.
Eat your vegetables.
In everyone's favorite section called callbacks.
No.